Type 40 Live, number 255, the live stream Doctor Who magazine show on Rumble, X, YouTube, and Facebook, covering all things Doctor Who from right the way back then to the right here and the right now, all in front of a live chat full of fellow friends, fans, and companions just like you. And are you receiving us? Check your squarials, pointing in the right direction as we head back to 1990. Also, who's in the hot seat? No, not that hot seat. The hot seat, the best known seat on British television. We've got that coming up too. And yet another Doctor Who podcast. Who's behind that? Find out on Type 40 Live. And boom, we're back. Here we are with a crack or two. As always, we love the crack here in the nicest possible way here at Type 40 Live. Or is that the shaft? I think a shaft of light. We've been given the shaft several times since 2018, haven't we? Hello. Welcome back. Yes, I'm Dan Hadley, Birmingham's king of the geeks. And the gags may get better. Stick around. Like the video now. You'll be having far too much fun later on. Like the video now. And hold tight. We've got a lot to get into and plenty to talk about it with. So we've got a panel to bring on right now, and we'll find out who you are in a moment or two. Have you been? Big week? Not really, but this is the Big Who. We bring the Big Who every time, whether the BBC do or not, whether Disney Plus are remotely interested, and even if Bad Wolf are having a somewhat mild one, we'll crank it up and bring the balance as ever. As fighting talk, as we call it here at Type 40 Live. I see if the others are ready to join the bear pit. I think it's Gary. I think Gary Akers is necking a energy drink. He must be mad keen for it.
No, I'm already hyped up enough as it is on Thursdays. Welcome. Hi, Dan. You know what, Dan? I think you should change your name to King of always being able to find interesting things to talk about, but that might be a little bit long for a business card.
We'll see if I deliver on that in a couple of hours' time.
No, how are you doing? No, this sounds like it's going to be fun today.
Not too bad. Since the last show, I've had my ears lowered in case anybody's noticed, which makes it a lot easier to find where I've got to put the earpieces in, as it would happen. So I'm feeling good. I'm feeling refreshed.
How does that work? I've never heard of ear lowering. What is that?
Very technical. I'll explain. I'll explain later.
Okay.
Yes. So we're back in the console room. This was from around 2018, and the best thing I can think to say about this is I think this position that we're in to look at the moment is probably the most attractive angle to look at this particular console room with. I think we can still fit some people in it though.
Yeah, this doesn't have the biscuit dispenser. I guess we can't see that. You know what, Dan? I don't know about you. I always measure when we're talking about console rooms that we like. I always kind of say, is this a TARDIS that I would like to travel in for an extended period of time? That's why I love like Matt Smith's second control room, adore Peter Capaldi's because it's a library. I would love and could see myself loving to travel in that console room for forever. This is not a room I would like to spend a lot of time actually traveling in.
Well, if the cast don't look relaxed in there, in character, then there's no way we're going to be convinced that it's a real domain and that we would follow suit and want to spend time there either. They haven't always got that right, even in the classic series, have they, to be fair? But I suppose it's a question of whether the people involved can believe. I'm a believer. I think you're definitely a believer as well, even though you're not sporting a Doctor Who cap tonight. It's a Stargate
this is Stargate today. Yeah,
it's near enough. It's near enough. Are you a believer, starry-eyed girl Sarah Graham?
Depends in what of this TARDIS. No,
just generally speaking.
I do agree, though, Don. That angle that you've put up is probably like the best part of it. Yeah, it's too dark, it's too dingy, and this is coming from somebody who loved the coral TARDIS all those years ago. And Gary's absolutely right. It wasn't comfy. It's not. It's despite the lighting, it doesn't feel cozy. It doesn't feel comfortable. I'd much rather be sat in McGann's TARDIS or the Capaldi one or any other one than this. I can't imagine spending a long journey in this at all.
You know why I like it so much, particularly this side, it's when you look at the area that leads out to the police box door, the pattern, those hexagons, the second set of hexagons. It looks just like my favourite game show. I'll have a P, please, Bob. I'd save the P to the ad break. No, it's because the shape that it forms, the cutout there, reminds me of the shape of the classic series, the double doors from the console room there. And I think as we're all classic Who fans, do you know what I mean, Luke?
Yes, I do. And yeah, I remember when this TARDIS first leaked, when the images first started coming out, and you saw Jodie in front of that there, and you're like, "Oh wow, this is extremely different to what we were expecting." And yeah, then it showed the full thing, and it was like a Poundland version of the Coral TARDIS, and you're like, "Oh, cool."
I've never been so disappointed in my life. Yeah.
Yeah.
Welcome back, Luke. How are you? Good week.
Yeah, still fine, absolutely fine. Thought it was Saturday today. Was very confused waking up this morning, asking my missus why she set an alarm at 6 o'clock on a Saturday for. But it's good. Got a fun day tomorrow. If you could just keep an eye out on. I'm not sure what's going on, but you might see me trying to hit a bullseye, shall we say, on a certain show. So.
Oh, not on Blockbusters, on Bullseye. You've been on Bullseye?
I'm doing it tomorrow, yeah. Hello, everyone in the chat as well. Nice to see you all again. Yeah, so doing Bullseye tomorrow. So that'll be, luckily the studio's right by my flat, so it's quite nice for me. So I just walk over.
Fantastic. Who hosts that now? Remind me, who's the host?
Freddie Flintoff.
Freddie Flintoff, I have no idea who that is.
Yeah, he's the old cricketer.
David Milling. I think David Milling, he might know. I'll have to ask him.
The perfect guy. I haven't told David as well. I'm with Freddie tomorrow. Oh, wow.
Oh, this sporting talk. Let's bring in some proper geeks to fight off all of this. I think Simon Horton could be just a stout fellow.
Well, hello. I'm really impressed, Luke. Are you actually going to be on Bullseye?
Yeah, I'm the knower, not the thrower.
Okay.
Fantastic. Keep out of the black and in the red. Nothing in this game for two in a bed.
Yeah. So yeah, we're going over tomorrow. So yeah, that'll be a bit fun. Looking forward to it. So.
I had no idea it was even still going. We're gracious. I used to watch that. Sunday wouldn't be Sunday without a bit of bully.
At least there's a bit of water. So if you do get the speedboat up in Manchester, you've got somewhere where you can sort of put it on the dockland or something.
Yeah, just up and down the canals. That's literally all I'm going to do.
It's not all bad news. It's not all bad news. And we've got more good news to come, I'm happy to say, because there is one more combatant to enter. I say combatant. I think we probably ought to behave ourselves, hadn't we? Because, yes, court is in.
I am reliably told when I disappear at my 10 o'clock bedtime, I get people say that you lot do become a little bit more rowdy. And it's almost like because I'm gone, people are...
I don't know what they mean.
He says, when the cat's away, the mice will play, Charlotte. That's all I was...
So I do get whispers. It's lovely to be with everybody and the chat.
Well, see, Charlotte, that's because when you and Sarah are here, you keep us on our best behavior. And then when you go, then it all just
hangs out.
That's right.
Don't say anything while you're here. You'd have a straight out those double doors, wouldn't you? I mean, personally, I think that the finest moment of this TARDIS set was when a certain former companion came sort of slamming through at great speed from high altitude. More on her later on. But I didn't weep when this one was destroyed personally. Charlotte, I mean, how do you feel looking back at this design now? Any thoughts?
I think the core idea of going a bit more steampunky, I think that wasn't a bad idea at all, because we had such a naturalistic TARDIS for a while, and then we had the really high sci-fi stuff with Capaldi and Matt. So to have that industrial, almost steampunk, like H.G. Wells, that sort of era, I think, yeah, that would have been lovely. But we got this, which was just like random lights and a dead spider in the middle of it.
I think it's
just a cream dispenser.
it just looks
Fantastic.
over designed. This to me is just a classic example of over designing something.
Well, that's
It
the thing.
looks it looks designed in the way that the TARDIS shouldn't look designed. It should look sort of
Yeah.
more, I hate to use the word organic, but yeah, a little bit more organic, just a bit more natural, a bit more free flowing. And this is just straight off a designer's sketch pad, isn't it?
What I
For
think
me.
it was you had like that backdrop, like we said, with the doors and all that around it, which screams one aesthetic, and then you had crystals and like that natural theme, and it felt like they were clashing with each other constantly to me.
It's a bit of everything,
hindsight.
let's be honest. It's a bit of
Yeah,
everything.
like put a
Absolutely.
kitchen sink sub-added.
Yeah, I agree.
You could say color-wise, at least it fit with the title sequence. I absolutely loved the title sequence of the Whittaker era. I sincerely did. It's just the logo that I wasn't keen on. I loved how it moved and how dark it was. It did remind me of sort of vintage TV, but it was when that logo started to form that I was less keen. To me, I associate this logo more now with this. Oh, that's better.
Yeah.
With the Blu-ray collection, that's a lot nicer, easier on the eye and on the bowel, I think. But yeah, this is where we talk about all things Doctor Who from right throughout the history of the show, but tentatively here and there. We know that you've got sensitive stomachs as well out there on YouTube, Rumble, Facebook, and X as well. And some of us have been away for a little while again, out on manoeuvres, out and about on reconnaissance missions, and maybe doing a bit of moonlight. Now, I'm not talking about Gary Akers with his off-brand hat. I'm talking about Mr. Simon Horn. What's all this about, Simon?
Well, yes. Yeah. Apologies that I wasn't here. Was it last week? I can't. I have to be honest. I've sort of lost track of time a little bit because I've just been so busy over the last month or so pulling this together. So what this was Space Invasion of Lichfield, which as long time viewers of the show will know, this is where I live. There we go. There's Lichfield. That's where I live. I'm very, very lucky to be there. And so this was Space Invasion was a crazy idea I actually had last year. And it was just something very, very small scale and simple last year, a one-day event. But it was very well received. And so we stupidly decided, oh, there I am. That's me last year.
Awesome.
We want you. Yeah, that was from last year. And so this year I figured, okay, let's do it again, because it did go down very, very well. It was very well received by the public, and so we've done it again. And so it's just finished this weekend. And so what it is it's totally free. It's open to the public. It's for charity. So on this photo that you can see now, which is from Sunday just gone, the people in the high-vis jackets, those are all the charity. It's a local charity. Called the Stamboli Trust, which is a cancer charity. So we were raising funds for charity. The guys at the back are all from the 501st Legion, the UK garrison of the 501st Legion, the West Midlands squad, in fact. And don't know who the guy in silver is on the right-hand side there, brandishing his weapon. But
silver shirt,
Simon. So it's also the idea is it's just completely free, and so I just contacted loads and loads of people, all to do with cosplaying, or they might be in sort of teams. A lot of them were in teams. A lot of these cosplayers nowadays come in sort of squads, as it were, and just managed to attract loads of them to come down to Lichfield, and we sort of did this mass takeover of Lichfield city centre. There are those were our Doctor Who characters. We've got Jamie there on the left, who is, of course, the Seventh Doctor, and another Simon playing Patrick Troughton there, and then we've got a friend of the show, Scott, who's playing the Third Doctor in commanding style in the middle, and Mercedes playing Sarah Jane Smith next to some idiot in a long scarf as well. I feel a bit of an imposter because I'm definitely a bargain basement Tom Baker. All I've got is the scarf, I'm afraid. That's it. So I'm no cosplayer. I just don't do cosplay particularly. But I just thought it was a fantastic idea to do, and it turned out to be very well received. We got good weather, and we got the public just absolutely loved it. So for 2 days we just had Doctor Who people, Thunderbirds, Wolverine, Star Wars people, everybody just took over Lichfield city centre. They were going in and out of shops. They were invading coffee shops. There we are. There they are walking down the high street. That is the Cathedral of Lichfield in the background. It's a good shot, isn't it? That is taken by my good friend Douglas Armour, who is the official photographer for the event. He just took some amazing photos of these guys, and you can see the weather, as I say, was kind to us. The sun is even shining there, so it was just a great fun event. And what we do is we sort of we focus on the hub, which is sort of the arts centre in Lichfield city centre, and so that's where we got you could have your face painted. You could learn how there were drawing workshops to learn how to draw your favourite sci-fi character. And we'd also got Jedi Knight training. So this was all completely free. You could learn to be a Jedi Knight. You could learn to fight with a lightsaber. So you had a half an hour session with these Jedi Knights, these trainers that would, they give you a lightsaber and teach you how to use it for half an hour. It was absolutely brilliant fun. And the public,
I hate it when you sent me this picture and you said, "Oh, look what we've been doing. Look at the turnout for this." I must say, I did notice the girl on the far left there, totally in character.
Isn't she brilliant? She's absolutely focused. She's obviously with the dark side, as you can tell from her red lightsaber, and so she was. They all take it very, very seriously, but they don't take themselves remotely seriously. If that makes sense, they just have an absolute ball with it. But it's I tell you what, it's really serious stuff, because these guys will not be seen in public with their lids off, as they say. That's obviously their helmets off. So what the picture that you're looking at the moment, that's on the stage that we were using, and the backstage area directly behind them, that was in effect the green room, and that was where all these costume characters could go and sit down and have a cup of tea. Or a bite to eat, but that is strictly out of bounds of the public. They're really, really strict on this. No members of the public are allowed in there when they are taking their break with their lids off, because they don't want to break the illusion. That's the whole point. They stay in character the whole time they're on the streets. They stay in character, and so we would just march through the streets, and it takes an hour to sort of go half a mile, because everybody wants their photograph taken with these characters, and it's just a very, very friendly, fun, free event, and it was a lot bigger this year than last year, and we're already sort of talking about next year. A couple of weeks ago, I'd said I am never doing this again because it was so much work. But it went down so well, and the little kids that were turning up. Oh, I tell you what, it was just beautiful. These little kids turning up in Luke Skywalker gear, or Darth Vader. They'd come as in their Darth Vader costume. They just absolutely loved it. And so once I saw that, I kind of thought, you know what, we've got to do this again, just because you see the looks on the faces of these kids, and the big kids, of course. The adults love it, but it's the kids as much as anything. They're just an absolute wonder. So yeah, we're already talking about doing it next year.
Well, if you let us know when you've got a date set out, we'll pop it in the video description.
Yeah, it'll be about this time next year, about September time again. So yeah. It was fantastic. So that's why I've been absent from Type 40 for a while, because I've just been out on manoeuvres, just working that out. There was a lot of work to put.
And you got the last, I think, of the summer weather too, Simon. I think you got quite fortunate there. And I did wonder when I saw these holiday snaps on social media from Millie Gibson the other day. I thought maybe she was in Lichfield too. I thought, oh, then let the taps run a bit.
Yeah, we don't. We have got a lake, but it's not quite that big.
Millie was off in Greece doing. I don't know if she's taken a part-time job delivering pizzas or something there, or maybe ice creams, and she's getting eating some of the stock there on Millie. So we've got what's Doctor Who is out of commission: the stars, the faces, the legends, the recent ones, and the long-time legends are they're updating us on their activities. We've got more about that coming up in a little while as well. Lichfield today, tomorrow the world, Simon. Best of luck.
Well. Who
So,
can
Simon,
say?
do you know how to use a lightsaber now?
Do you know what, Gary? I did not have time to do any
Oh.
of the. I know. Can you believe it? I was gutted. I didn't have time to do the training, but it's really quite. It's basically kendo, isn't it? I mean, that's what lightsaber battles are. It's basically kendo. It's very sort of Japanese movements and maneuvers that they're working with. But as I say, they take it really seriously, and you could choose your lightsaber. They had this massive rack, Gary, of lightsabers, so you could choose from all different colors, all different shapes and sizes of handles. It was an amazing experience. And we were booked out solid both days, and so it was all free. We were booked out solid both days of people literally queuing up to do this lightsaber training. It was,
Simon, that's going to be an official yearly event for the city, and so it'll be on the city council calendar and everything. And so you're committed to this now.
Yeah, I
know.
Don't
scare off. Do not scare off.
After just 2 years, it has become an annual event. So
well done, Simon.
I'm going to struggle to get out of it now.
Well done, Simon. Well done, Mercedes, was it? And Scott.
Mercedes.
The other Simon, and of course Jamie, friends of the show now for a couple of years. Glad that they didn't let you down.
Absolutely. And Jamie on the far left, he used to be, anybody that used to go to Hooverville, or he did a lot of the events, but certainly this is where we know him from, is Hooverville. He used to be an Earthshock Cyberman at Hooverville. But sadly, his Earthshock Cyberman suit has seen better days and fallen apart by all accounts. So he was there as the Seventh Doctor instead.
Sorry for your loss there, Jamie. Let's go and see what people in the live chat have got to say about all of this. We may have some insurgent Jedi Knights, or even a couple of Sith tucked away on there, letting rip with their conversational lightsabers. I think it's time we caught up with the comments.
You're watching Type 40. Stupid tune anyway.
Talk of the devil, there he is.
Thank you there, everybody who's waited very patiently for us. We included Richard Brooks, who declares it's a disaster of a console room. Is he talking about the six of us? Or the picture, Sarah? What do you think? Where's the safe money?
Oh, definitely the picture. Richard loves us. Of course he does.
No, Richard loves us.
Oh dear. And Dom goes in the live chat. At least I can trust Type 40 to broadcast Doctor Who material, even if the BBC won't. Well, there you go. We do our best. We may not have a fancy Whoniverse hub app there, Luke, but we've all got big gobs. I think that's the.
You said that as I just put a scream in my mouth. Yeah, absolutely. If anyone's wondering, I am eating some Kinder Bueno bonbons. They're very, very good. If anyone's wondering, they're very nice.
We've got Lord Thoth in the live chat there, mate. Good to see you too. We've got Tom from T Dwarf Productions.
Hello, Tom.
How are you doing?
Hello,
I'm
Tom.
doing very well, thank you, Tom. Thank you. How are the rest of you doing? How's everybody doing? Luke's okay. Gary looks, everybody looks okay. We've no protestations of otherwise so far. Who else is here? We've got lots. We've got Garbage in the live chat. It's jumping around.
Hello, Garbage.
What is that? Not Belinda, the one before. Oh, I don't know what he's on about there. Darren Wilshaw's in the live chat says, good evening, all. He's got one of the ice creams that Millie Gibson hasn't managed to eat herself from out of the stock. See you, Darren. Good to have you back, mate. Rose Kirby's in the live chat too. Hey, folks, like, love, hit, tap that. No, tap that's something else, Rose. Not pre-watershed anyway. Good to have you back with us. Who else is here? We've got ever such a lot of people. Stephen Braddock's here as well. Had a harrowing day, says Stephen. Type 40 is my happy time and space with fellow friends and family. And a big old heart there. Well, hope we can take your mind off whatever it is for a couple of hours there, Stephen. Relax. You are amongst friends and companions. Reset the console wallpaper. Demands Rob Alexander, Gary.
Great. You mean the console for the first picture? I don't think wallpaper.
Probably.
I don't think a wallpaper or a paint job or drilling would help that.
He may just want us to swap
particular
places.
one.
I should jiggle us around on the screen a little
Yeah.
bit. That maybe that's what he means.
Oh,
I just want to see the leopard print one. That's you teased it in the series. Don't leave us hanging. So
people are thinking of you tomorrow here, Luke. We've got a caution here, a word of wisdom from Domgo. You get nothing in this game for two in a bed. He reminds you, I think, Simon, between them, they've got it all covered.
Trying to think of the other catchphrases. They'll come to me during the show, I'm sure.
you just wait till you see me on a speedboat in Manchester.
Look at what you could have won.
Yeah.
You know what you're going to win, Luke? BTH. Bus ticket home. That was another.
I live a walk away.
That was another one.
Yeah.
What was it? Who was it used to present it?
Jim Bowen.
Jim Bowen.
Jim
Yeah.
Bowen.
Yeah.
Bus ticket home.
I hope you get a nice bully plushie, because that would be
You
really
at least
cool.
get that, don't
I
you?
do want a bully. Yeah,
Yeah.
I want
Yeah,
a
you
bully.
get a bully. You
Really
definitely
want
get
a
a bully.
is your picture going to be in Radio Times, Luke, for being on
Oh,
that show?
no, it won't be that. I think we won't be there for long. I imagine. I'm quite thick. So.
Dongo in the chat has corrected me. You're right, Dongo. It was Bus Fare Home, BFH, Bus Fare Home. Well done, Dongo. Thank you for correcting me on that.
Tom's very happy to see you back, Simon. Always
That's very
makes me
nice to
happy
be
to
back.
see you on
Thank you, Tom.
Type 40. Says good old Tom. Cheryl's
Thanks,
in
Tom.
too. Good to have you back, Cheryl.
Hey, Cheryl.
And we have Jess in as well, Sarah. Whoever, wherever you are, wishing you all well. Not the season 2 Doctor Who. Well. Plays on
Glad you
words,
made
that's
the
what we do.
distinction, Jess. But yes.
It's important.
Evening says Darren,
Hi,
who'll
Darren.
always reside in the Darren zone for me. I'm afraid, Darren, you're never going to live that one day. And we've got Stephen O'Neill's in as well. He's in Wigan, of course. Sorry to hear that.
Hey,
We're
Steve.
still rooting for you, Stephen. Good luck with that ongoing situation.
Stephen O'Neill was commenting in the chat, saying he's never seen a Star Wars film. Can you
What?
believe? Is there anybody else here who's never seen a Star Wars film? Surely, everybody's seen at least one Star Wars film.
It's next to pretend this has never seen a James Bond movie. And then I'm afraid I'm going to have to call in one of Starmer's force.
But it's constantly repeated on ITV, Stephen.
I was going to say, bank
Well, it's
holidays,
to dodge
ITV's
it.
got you sorted. You've got
Yeah.
Bond, you've got Harry Potter, you've got Star Wars.
Yeah. We've got Josh H here. He's looking forward to Christmas already. We don't have any of that talk around here. Thank you. I'm the bloke who wanders round Tesco looking at all the Christmas selection boxes. There, Charlotte, just sort of tutting to myself audibly so that the people who are sort of replenishing the shelves can hear me. I feel that's my part of fighting the good fight. But Josh here asks, is Simon interested in doing a Christmas special? I think he means of your event. I think we may need another 10
I
months
see.
Oh.
for him to recover, to replenish himself.
I mean, to be fair, I mean, I'd watch an hour of Simon Horton. I mean, don't
It would
also-
send you to sleep, Sarah. There's no two ways about that.
And here's the
Definitely
thing.
good for if you've got insomnia.
And here's the thing, Simon, there's probably a gap in the schedule this year for a Christmas special. You never know.
There probably is.
There you go. You heard it here first. Plug that gap. The people demand it. There, bring your Jedis and your time.
You know what
lords
you could
and
do,
everything
Simon?
else.
You could decorate, just like what was it, Hoth in the second movie. Decorate the whole town like an ice planet for Christmas.
Oh,
And,
that would be cool.
You know, do a
That'd be
Christmas
cool.
extravaganza in Litchfield.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
And I wouldn't have the faintest idea about how you would do something like that. But I think if I was to look for somebody who could sort of makeshift throw something like that together, it would probably be someone like maybe a Blue Peter presenter, maybe.
Oh, wow.
Not a bad segue, even by my standards. Yes, so I'm talking about one particular Blue Peter presenter, former Blue Peter presenter. I think he left about 1978. So we're going back a fair old way now since Peter Purvis was there on those little sort of foam sofas they used to have on that show, usually holding a turtle or a tortoise or something of that description, whilst wrestling with some sticky back plastic. Best known to us as Stephen Taylor, of course, in the William Hartnell era, a role he has most recently returned to. I think nobody was more surprised than Peter, funnily enough. But he's just announced that he's got a new project coming up. This was all over his social media. It's due to start recording this month, and it's only got his own podcast. Look, it says here, in the next week or so, I will begin posting what I hope will be a regular podcast on Podbeam and several other channels like YouTube, Apple, Facebook, everywhere else. I would be grateful if my followers and friends could repost this message, get the word out about the Peter Purves podcast. And the name of his initial guest, it seems, is going to be his good friend Colin Baker too. He promises it's going to be an enjoyable ride, and he's going to announce it more on his socials if we go and keep an eye out for all of that. So how fabulous is this? I mean, okay, it's great that the first guest is going to be a Doctor Who guest too, Simon. That's never a bad thing. But this is Peter Purves is a man of decades worth of broadcasting experience. I would imagine that he's going to turn out something pretty good.
Well, you'd hope so. I mean, he's very much he's a bon vivant, isn't he, Peter Purves? He's great at telling stories. He doesn't seem to have aged that much in the past 30 years. It seems he's looked like this for 30 years or more. He's just a bit of a legend, isn't he? He just is a legend, and as I say, he's just a great raconteur. He's a good storyteller. I just love the guy. I remember him from was it Kickstart, that the show you used to do in the summer? Yeah. Do you remember, with all the kids on the bikes? Yeah, I do.
It was like do that Bullseye on motorbikes, Luke. If you're too young to remember that one,
that was it. I'm sure it was called Kickstart or something like that. So yeah, he's been around, hasn't he? Let's be honest, people. He's going to have a lot of good stories to tell. That's for sure.
I would have thought so. What a career as both an actor and a presenter. He came back, of course, a couple of years ago for one of those Tales of the TARDIS special little vignettes. Gary, I mean, I loved that, and I think that the one that he made with Maureen O'Brien there was probably one of the strongest.
Yeah, I mean, I saw all of these Tales from the TARDIS, and I was a sap. A lot of them I got choked up or teared up on some of these, and this one, as you said, was one of the better ones. I actually think Stephen, all credit to Peter Purves, I think actually Stephen Taylor is probably the most underrated companion in the classic series, because I mean, he came in right there with the seismic event of Ian and Barbara leaving, and he had great chemistry with Maureen O'Brien. And you think about all of the, not only the behind the scenes chaos that went on in that third season, but out in front with companions leaving seemingly like every other episode, and all of the upheaval and changes from the beginning of the season to the end. And Stephen was like the steadying kind of influence there. He was like the rock that carried on with Hartnell to provide that really important continuity in that season when so many things were just like all over the place. And so no, I think he did a great job on the show.
I think in many ways, what the problem might be, Gary, is that so little of his Doctor Who survives. There are so few episodes with Peter Purves in. I think that's part of the reason why he, as you say, he's one of the least remembered companions, because there's just so little of him to see now, sadly.
We do see and hear a lot of actors turning their hands to podcasting. Results are very varied, but a seasoned broadcaster like Peter Purves, I feel, Sarah, he's going to have something interesting to say. He's going to have lots of connections. He's over 80 now, and yet still appears regularly on the stage. In fact, wasn't he in he and Colin did the Charles Dickens things, didn't they, last Christmas?
He did, yeah. Yeah, he's done so much. He just keeps on going, and I think his shows are going to be fascinating, and not just as a Doctor Who fan, just broadcasting in general. There might be some good gossip, that he can tell us years gone by. I mean, obviously, I know him apart from Doctor Who, I know him from Crofts. That was like...
Oh, yeah. I'd forgotten that.
So yeah, so you know, he's done so much. He's just going to be a generally interesting person, and I can understand why he's chosen somebody like Colin Firth. You know, he's worked with him a lot recently. But yeah, I'm really looking forward to this, and I can't wait to see, you know, what other guests he adds on. And again, a few years ago, this might not have really appealed to me, but I'm finding a lot of these older actors, I'm really enjoying what they've got to say. Like the Peter Davison one that, you know, he did a few months ago.
Yeah,
Again,
the
that's
in
not
studio
something
one.
I would have normally gravitated to. Because I thought, well, I'm not, you know, is it going to interest me apart from Doctor Who? And it did. It captivated me for the full length because, again, he's lived such a interesting life, you know, and kind of grown up with TV changing all the time. And Peter's, you know, exactly the same here. And again, and it's really easy in some ways because, you know, you can kick back and relax at home and just record. So I see no reason why this can't just run and run, you know, as long as he gets the guest. So yeah, good for Peter.
I'd certainly rather listen to Peter Purvis than David Tennant's ghastly podcast. I mean, there's far better examples of actors making good, nourishing content and having proper conversations, not just cozying up to their mates or moving in a political sort of direction. When you look at actors like Michael Rosenbaum, whose podcast is outstanding, Katie Sackhoff from Battlestar Galactica and The Mandalorian, she's got a good one as well, which she's sort of gradually growing. So there are good ones out there, and I think someone like Peter Purvis, yes, if you're looking at within the Doctor Who sort of world, the Doctor Who family, I don't think you're going to really find a much better candidate than him from all those years on Blue Peter and everything else that he's done. The TARDIS does tend to keep catching up with him, Charlotte. I do wonder what a man who's done so much will think, oh, I can't escape this thing. But then again, I think he seems to have quite a general sort of balanced and healthy view of everything that he's associated with.
Yeah, and I think the interesting thing here will be he's not one of these actors that you've seen loads on TV or give interviews or give podcast appearances. Like certain actors like a Tennant, I feel like at the moment he's suffering from overexposure, to put it lightly. So I think because Peter has, like you said, he's just been steadily working all his life. He's just been doing jobs. He's got lots of different things he's done. But because he's not been a big attention seeker and he's sort of quietly done that now it's like, oh, now we can just listen to him talk for a bit. And I think that's more interesting. And it's interesting you said that he is one of these companions which doesn't get the limelight like others. And I adore some of them, like Sophie we'll talk about later, or Sarah Jane when we had her. But I think there's something special about the companions which don't get shown all the time, that when they do come into the light, in a sense. And it has been lovely to see him, like you said, in the last 5 to 10 years, sort of really embrace Who again, it feels like, and do these little appearances and little things. Because he's just a lovely bloke. Like, that's the best way I can describe Peter. He just comes across as a really genuine, nice guy.
Charlotte, I'd forgotten that he was in The Office. Domgo's reminded me of the live chat. He played himself in EastEnders as well, years and years ago.
That's what I mean. He's that generation of just working actor. That if you like when Simon does his diary and he looks at the credits, a certain generation of actor, you'll be amazed at what they've done, and I think Peter's very much part of that camp. So like I said, the amount of stories and guests he can bring is probably going to be incredible.
There's lots of potential there. Stephen Braddock's down for it.
He's just such a professional, isn't he? That's the thing with Peter. He just is. He's a pro in every sense of the word, and that's why that this will be a good, solid podcast, because he knows what to say, he knows what not to say. Unlike certain celebrities who just don't know when to keep their mouths shut. He's far too much of a class act. That's just how he's always been. And again, he's just one of those people that, have you ever heard anybody say, don't really like Peter Purvis? Everybody loves Peter Purvis. Everybody loves him, quite rightly too.
Face and voice from most of our childhoods in one capacity or another, whether it's Crufts, just as you were saying, there, Sarah, or kickstart more for me? He'd largely left Blue Peter by the time I'd got to it, really. But I know that lots of us will have been there for his. I think he was on Blue Peter for well over 10 years. So a hell of a contribution there to a huge part of British culture. We wish Peter Purvis all the best, of course, with his upcoming podcast. And if you need a few tips, Peter, if you need a few. We wouldn't presume to try and give Peter Purvis any tips on broadcasting. Of course, we wouldn't. But you can get the Type 40 podcast across all major podcatchers: Audible, Spotify, Amazon Music, all those places, or our home feed at type40.podbean.com, as always. This is Type 40 Live, Rumble, X, YouTube, and Facebook, as always. Great comments there in the live chat so far. People getting into the spirit of all the nonsense there. Yes, the talk may be small here and there, but the thinking is always big. Before and after the watershed, catch up on previous editions of this show there by hitting up the playlists. Our exploration of 60 years of the first Doctor Who and the Daleks movie there a few weeks ago. Loved doing that, but I also loved doing our focus on the Netflix film, the Thursday Murder Club. I thought that was a lot of fun. We'll do some more of that stuff. More slight sort of breaks outside the Whoniverse, I think, could be the order of the day, Gary. We'll definitely be doing more of the Ask Us Anything shows. So have a think about that before we do the next one. Are there any other things you'd like to ask us about that aren't the Timeless Child, Sarah? We've kind of done that, haven't we?
Yeah, I never want to talk about that again, to be quite honest.
You'd need a stiff drink, wouldn't you? You'd certainly need more than you could get in that mug, I think, yeah. So, yeah, have a word with yourselves. Have a think and get back to us. More coming up in a little while. We're going to go right the way back through certainly my timeline and maybe yours too. Not too far, I suppose. It depends on how old you are, doesn't it? So we're going to make that stop in a little while. And there is another huge British cultural icon to visit too. Okay, first of all, I think we'll have a quick blast of him.
Hello, I'm Philip Roy playing the Doctor in the Doctor Who fan film Doctor Who Meets the Scorpion. I've been on quite an adventure, and this is most definitely the Type 40 podcast.
We're rooting for you, Phil. We've got our aerials up. Bunny ears on, waiting for Philip Roy and Doctor Who Meets the Scorpion. I think they're beavering away even now, Luke, I understand, at an undisclosed location.
Probably. I watched Thursday Murder Club finally. I finally seen it. Watched it and I absolutely loved it. I thought it was brilliant.
Did you guess who what done it was?
No. I was as soon as something happened to a certain someone, I was like, oh, well, that's me out there. And I thought it was Tom.
I know
Tom
you
Ellis.
thought it was.
I thought it was Tom Ellis. I thought it was Tom Ellis for the longest time. So no, I thought the casting on that is fantastic. And yeah, I know they're talking about doing another one. So I really hope they do because yeah, it was brilliant. Absolutely brilliant.
Did we just 4 or 5 books? I can't quite. Does anybody remember? There's quite a lot.
The fifth one comes out shortly, like in a couple of weeks.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'd say the success of that film means it's pretty much guaranteed. Hooray, the Doctor, says Crimply and Doubloon. They were your big aunties and uncles on Blue Peter. Magpie were just tearaways asking for money, says Peter. Now that really is before my time. Magpie. Corvin is in the live chat. Haven't seen you around for a while.
Hello, Corvin.
Good to see you, mate. Old friend Corvin M.
Oh,
Yeah,
and
Corvin.
Philip
I've known
was just
Corvin for
given a-
goodness knows how many years. Sorry, Charlotte, go on.
No, it's all right. The Doctor's in the chat. Philip's just said editing today, folks, adding special effects and visual effects. So
Woohoo!
that's what he's been up
Right.
to.
I love how you say his name and he suddenly just appears like a genie. Like,
I know it was. That's why I was
Phil.
like, "What timing?" He's literally
He's
just-
monitoring us.
It's the telepathic
Joe
circuit,
Henry.
isn't it? Good to see you, Phil, mate. Come and catch up with us again soon. I think it's been several months, isn't it? We'll have to do a big old catch up. Drag you in. I'm back, and it's about time, says Corbin.
I love that.
Excellent stuff. Excellent stuff. Yes, it's great to have Corbin back, and it's great to have Simon back, of course. We've heard about your Lichfield event there. We know that you're recharging your batteries bit by bit, and I gather you're going to be back more regularly too. So we've got your dates.
Yep.
We know sort of when you're available. Your diary's clear, or clearer than it was, but that's your diary, not the diary. I can't see that being literally clear anytime soon. There's always something to talk about, isn't there? And this time, it's a perfect example.
Indeed it is. Yes, here we are. I can't believe how many weeks is it since we did this. It feels like a very, very long time. So thank you everybody for sticking with us on the little hiatus on the diary. But yeah, we are back with the diary, and it's an unusual diary today for reasons that will become very apparent. And Dan gave you a little clue right at the very top of the show what we will be talking about tonight. But before then, I've just got to tell you, I'm just going to run down a few of the episodes that we're not going to be talking about tonight because we're not going to have time. But of course, this is the time of the year when historically Doctor Who would be restarting, certainly throughout the Tom Baker years. September would always be the time that was very exciting for me as a sort of 8, 9, 10, 11-year-old, because Doctor Who would be back. So there are so many Tom Baker stories that were premiering this week in years gone by. Things like we'll get this. It's exactly 40 years ago today since Destiny of the Daleks episode 4 was screening back in 1979. 14.5 yeah, very true, Tom. 14.5 million people tuned in to watch the final episode of Destiny of the Daleks. Can you believe it? 14.5 million people. Yeah, we bow. But lots of other Tom Bakers as well. The only other one I'll mention quickly is it's 45 years since the Leisure Hive episode 4 was screening as well. That literally changed my life. Seriously, the Leisure Hive was the story that changed my life and made me want to be a TV director. And I did it. So actually, you know, the Leisure Hive is very close to my heart. And it's 45 years ago. Can you believe it? Lots of other stories. Time and the Rani was in the middle of its run back in 87. Battlefield was on its run back in 89. There was something about
Battlefield.
Oh, do you know what, Sarah? They didn't know. I don't know what happened to JNT. He lost the ability to know what was a good story to open a season with things like Time and the Rani and Battlefield, all kicking off Sylvester McCoy seasons. Trial of a Time Lord was barely getting started on its epic run this week in 1986. And we can go back. We can go back even further. 58 years since Tomb of the Cybermen was screening in 1967.
Brilliant.
And 60 years since Galaxy 4. 60 years since Galaxy 4 was screening back in 1965. And my personal favourite from this absolute classic batch of episodes, none of which we're talking about, it's exactly 50 years since Planet of Evil was screening back in 1975. 50 years. That was had a big impact on me, Planet of Evil. But as I say, we're not talking about any of those tonight. What we're talking about, and I say Dan did give you a hint of this right back at the beginning of the show, because what we're doing, we're going way back to 1990. The 22nd and the 23rd of September, to be precise, for BSB, British. Let me get this right. British Satellite Broadcasting. There we go. Thank you. The old BS. I can never remember because it got bought out of about 5 minutes of transmission. It got bought out by Sky and became B Sky B.
At least it wasn't BFH Broadcasting, Simon.
it had literally only been going about 6 months before it was one of those battles. They likened it to sort of the battle between VHS and Betamax, between Sky, which began transmission about a year before BSB, and then BSB, which really struggled and never actually managed to find a foothold, and eventually got bought out by Sky. But this weekend, the 22nd and the 23rd of September, which was the Saturday and this Sunday, back in 1990, was absolute nirvana for Doctor Who fans, because they gave over the entire weekend, a solid 2 days, to back-to-back episodes of Doctor Who on the Galaxy channel. They had a number of channels on BSB. One of them was the Galaxy channel, and they gave over the entire weekend of broadcasting to Doctor Who. And of course, this is way before the days when you could see these episodes easily. A lot of them were out on VHS by this point, but a lot of them were not out on VHS. And there was no such thing as repeats in those days. So these episodes were not easy to see back then. So this was a real, this was really quite an event for Doctor Who fans. And what they did, they had this show called 31 West on BSB, and the reason it was called 31 West was it was something to do with the latitude over which the satellite hung, and that was why it's called 31 West. Well, of course, for this weekend they renamed the strand 31 Who, and so you had this. See what they did there? Clever. Took them minutes to think of that one. And so you got this entire weekend of broadcasting. There we go. Now you could only get, BSB was kind of infamous for its. They were called squareals because it was a square aerial. And they became something of a joke because, of course, people bought them and they lasted for about 6 months before it was bought out by Sky, and then they were completely useless. And there were all these articles in newspapers. What can you do with your defunct squareal? Because everybody had got these squareals stuck to the side of their houses, and they couldn't do anything with them because they were just defunct by this point. But as I say, it was really quite a weekend. Just solid back-to-back episodes of Doctor Who from start to finish. They were all black and white, apart from one story. They showed the Three Doctors late in the day on the Sunday. That was the only colour story. The rest of it was all black and white. So it was all Patrick Troughton or William Hartnell. And you know, they went right back to the very beginning. They started. As one would expect them to. They started with an unearthly child, and then they moved on to the Daleks. They went through the Keys of Marinus, the Edge of Destruction. Except bizarrely, get this, for some strange reason, they showed the Edge of Destruction, or Inside the Spaceship, whichever title you prefer today. They showed that on the Saturday, but they showed it the wrong way round. So they showed episode 2 first, and then they showed episode 1.
I've forgotten about that.
The story makes more sense that way.
Well, do you know what? It's really funny you say that, Gary, because actually it does make more sense that way.
It does.
It actually did make more sense. They screened it again the following day on the Sunday, and this time they got it the right way around, and it made, definitely a lot less sense. So they did all the Space Museum. I mean, you know, they were really scraping the bottom of the barrel by the time they got to that one.
I like the Space Museum.
Do you? Somebody had to like the Space Museum. but if you can just about make out the running schedule from there, on the left hand side you'll see there it is, the Galaxy channel on the left hand side for the Saturday the 22nd of September. You can also see, you might just about manage to make out, they also screened on Doctor Who and the Daleks, and then on the Sunday they screened the second Dalek movie, Daleks Invasion Earth 2150 AD. They also screened Who's Doctor Who on the Saturday as well. And then on the Sunday, predictably enough, they moved on to Patrick Troughton. But again, in absolute typical BSB fashion, they screened the War Games first of all and talked about how it was Patrick Troughton's last story.
Right.
And then they proceeded to show the Dominators and the Mind Robber for no apparently good reason why they couldn't have got those the right way round and done the Dominators and the Mind Robber first, and then moved on to the War Games. But hey, that was BSB for you. And then, as I say, they sort of rounded it all out with the 3 Doctors. So it's a bit of an odd mixed bag, really, because you would have thought if they were going to give over the entire weekend of Galaxy's entire schedule to Doctor Who, you wonder why they chose to do purely black and white. I would have thought it would have been much better to just do an entire mix. You'd had 7 Doctors by that point, and so it seems a bit strange that they would have chosen to do it.
I've got it into my head. Somebody once told me that the idea was that Doctor Who weekends would be a mainstay in themselves, because when this launched, when the entire company launched, the entire platform, as we'd now call it, they did make a big thing, didn't they, about Doctor Who? They played that up right at the front of the promotion with that advert we saw with the Dalek earlier on. And I think it's the show had just left the screen, and it just left BBC One.
Yes, just.
We'd been told how unpopular it was. And then right out of the box was this brand new service that admittedly you've got to pay for. And yet they were perversely leading with it, because I saw it build. It was always billed in the listings magazines as Doctor Who hyphen from the start. So they knew that this was your opportunity to see this from the very, very beginning. And I think that could have been why they did that so tentatively with the Doctor Who weekend thing. Like, okay, this is like a package. If you like this, then for at least 6 months, we'll be showing more stuff like this. That was the impression I got, but I could be wrong.
No, I think you're absolutely right. They did have high hopes for BSB being sort of a home, well, the Galaxy Channel specifically, for being a home to Doctor Who, because what had happened, they'd started screening Doctor Who episodes right from pretty much day one of Galaxy Channel. I think they were on weekends. I can't remember. Somebody in the chat will probably correct me. It might even be that they showed them stripped across the week on weekdays. I can't remember. As to say, somebody in the chat, please remind me of this. But yeah, the idea was definitely that they would be screening Doctor Who regularly throughout the run, and then presumably, they would have done these Doctor Who takeover weekends a little bit more often. But again, I still think if that's the case, then why did they chuck in the 3 Doctors there rather randomly? It still seems a bit odd. But what was good? I mean, I must point out, I did not have a BSB square reel, so I went. Excuse me, I went round. I spent the entire weekend round at my friend Paul Gilbert's house. Hello, Paul, if you're out there watching. We crashed, along with many other Hoonatics. We literally crashed at Paul's house, and we kept ourselves going on Enders cups of coffee and chocolate hobnobs to get through this.
Jealous.
It was quite an endurance. But what was great about it, more so than the episodes, was I liked all the bits in between. Because there was various, padding, for want of a better word, but that for Doctor Who fans in many ways was some of the fun stuff. It was presented by Shyama Pereira, who literally looked like a Lacertian. I mean, she just had this sort of shock of purple hair. Seriously, I'm sure she was channeling the Lacertians, and Debbie Flint, and it was also John Nathan Turner was also the third presenter. So they had John Nathan Turner there in various different Hawaiian shirts, also presenting. So what they did in between the episodes, as you can see there, they would pad out between the episodes with great little interviews with so many different people. They interviewed, I'm looking down the list at the moment. There's about 30 people on here. Bob Baker, Nicholas Courtney, Raymond Cusick, Jerry Davis, Terrence Dix, Carol Ann Ford, Mervyn Haseman. You know, you never really get interviews with Mervyn Haseman. Waris Hussein, Jenny Linden, Verity Lambert, Sylvester McCoy, Elizabeth Sladen, Barry Newbury, John Pertwee, Wendy Padbury, that you can see there on the right-hand side with Sylvester, Peter Purvis, Deborah Watling, Brian Hodgson, Peter Hawkins. I mean, literally, the list goes on and on and on. And so many of the Doctor Who stars were interviewed during the course of this weekend. Some of them live, some of them recorded. There was an hour-long documentary, Doctor Who's Who, which was interviews with John Pertwee, Tom Baker, Peter Davison, and Colin Baker. And so there was an hour-long special documentary on that. But the rest of it, as I say, in between time, they would just literally fill out the in-betweens with interviews with all manner. Terry Nation was interviewed, Sue Moore, Stephen Mansfield, Waris Hussein, Peter Purvis, of course Peter Purvis was interviewed. So as I say, it was a great Doctor Who.
But now I think theme weekends are something that, or even theme weeks, I suppose, there are so many TV channels, are relatively commonplace. Even the BBC would start doing sort of theme days shortly after this. But back then, this really stood out to go with one show for 2 days solid. You would never have heard of it. Whereas Sky One would do that now and again with The Simpsons or Friends a few years later.
Correct.
But to do this with TV that at the time was well approaching 30 years old, the general public had been told wasn't worth a minute of their time, never mind 48 hours of their time. I think as Doctor Who fans, this made me very proud, and I was excited by this. And I, even though I didn't have BSB, just like you, I was so jealous. I did pick up BSB TV month that month simply because Doctor Who was featured it. So I do own a copy of this. I've still got it even now.
You've still got that
never
issue,
saw.
But you never saw any of it. It's
not at the time.
And it is a shame because they could have done what I would call lazy scheduling. They could have just done back-to-back episodes and that would have been it. But it was the fact that they went to the trouble of building a little console, a TARDIS console room as the set, and bringing in all of these people. I mean, just to say, just everybody that you can think of that you would want interviewed was interviewed that weekend. So it felt almost like a convention, you know, like a 2-day solid convention. And so you know, they went above and beyond, that's for sure.
But the way you described it made me think of like the 50th with Doctor Who, or like when you guys talk about when the classic, when they had their big milestones, when they would make the effort, the BBC, to have all these guests and actors and writers and everybody on board. So the fact that just a channel which didn't need to do all this stuff really did it is really impressive.
Hey, Simon, I know the answer is probably no, but I mean, because maybe this footage is lost forever. Why couldn't they just, collect all those interstitials and put them together and release them? I'd love to see those.
I think I'm right in saying that a handful of them have turned up on the Blu-rays. I think, as I recall, I think the Bob Baker one might be on, and they interviewed Bob Baker and Dave Martin. I think that might be on the Claws of Axos Blu-ray disc. I'm pretty sure that the Stephen Mansfield and Sue Moore one is on probably the Battlefield disc. So there's a handful of them out there. I think some of them are also out there on YouTube. But you're quite right, Gary. It would be lovely to see them sort of gathered up. I'm still optimistic that one of these days they will release a Blu-ray box set in effect of the movie, but it will cover everything between the end of Survival and the beginning of Rose, and I'll put it so this would be the logical home for all of this to go, because this happened in the Wilderness years. But I say, again, I'm hoping somebody might tell me in the chat. I think, Peter Harrington's saying yes, bits and pieces are on the Blu-ray discs. So if you go and hunt them down, but it's a shame because there's lots of them that are not at the moment released, and they were great little interviews. I say it was like being at just kind of an armchair convention. A good cracking weekend. I remember it very, very fond.
They were good. They were good to us. They were for the short time they were in existence. I mean, there was a family that lived not far up the road from me on an adjoining estate, and they were really, really into their TV. They'd got Sky and they'd got BSB. And they were sort of friends of friends. So Gary, can you imagine what I was like? These episodes were being played out a couple of streets away, and I couldn't see them. I found it very, very hard going. It was a lesson in temperance for me at a very young age.
I would have knocked on the door with my arm full of food and just planted myself in front of their TV.
Just stand in the garden and look through a window like them scary TV license adverts. That's what you want to do.
I mean, in some ways, I remember when BSB came out as well, Luke. It was kind of as the world is now. Sky TV had sort of been the butt of some jokes for it being cheap and trashy and not many people could see it. And then BSB launched, and even few people could see that. And they'd been quite extravagant. They got this glamorous sort of Art Nouveau building that they were broadcasting out of.
Marco Polo House. That's
every folly in the world, wasn't it, Simon? So you think, of course, it was going to fail. They did all this shit.
Yeah. I think that was one of the reasons that's given us the sort of the downfall was this white elephant of a building, this Marco Polo house that cost so much money, whereas Sky were, I think, pretty much transmitting out of a garden shed somewhere, and so they saved all the money, and that's why they won the war and bought. But there is one of the infamous squarials up on the roof. I don't know. There's probably still some out there if you look carefully on some houses.
I took this picture 3 weeks ago.
No, you're kidding me.
Yeah, I took this picture myself. It was a few months ago. Yeah, you do still see squarials dotted around here and there, and people have mentioned them there in the live chat. They were notorious.
Wow. Yeah, they were notorious. As I say, there were humorous newspaper articles written about what to do. 101 uses for your squarial now that you can't use it.
These cuts go deep. The trauma of missing out on all that Doctor Who, Sarah, for 35 years ago for 48 hours, that I'm still bitter about it. I'm going around taking photographic evidence.
To be fair, Dan, I'd be exactly the same. Yeah.
It was just one of those moments where if you were lucky enough to be there, it was just a wonderful, wonderful moment. And you couldn't quite believe that you were going to get, as Dan says, 48 hours of Doctor Who back to back. It was just, it was beyond your wildest dreams. And as I say, by no means were all the Blu-ray, the VHSs out by that point. So repeats were, there's no way you were ever going to get to see these repeated. So it was mind blowing to say the least. And what's equally mind blowing is when I said to Dan earlier on this week, right, this is what we're going to cover today. And I said, I can't believe it's been 25 years since this. And then Dan emailed me back and said, no, it's been 35 years since this. I'm like, oh my life, where has the time gone? I was thinking it was 25 years. Nope, 35 years since this. And actually, there's lots of people in the chat can remember it. So it was, it was a good weekend to be a Doctor Who fan.
I'd like to see.
They remember all the jokes as well.
I'd like to see a picture of young Dan like up on somebody's roof, attaching the wires that could, to travel and pirate the signal over to his house.
I'll hook up a squarial to whatever I'd got, maybe an old coat hanger or two, like the 11th Doctor does in the lodger. Or something all together.
Now, Simon, really quickly, I wanted to ask, now this marathon weekend that you were watching, were any of the stories that you were seeing for the very first time that weekend on this broadcast?
Do you know, I have a sneaky suspicion that probably not. I think I've probably seen everything by that point on pirate video. They weren't my videos, I hasten to add. They were definitely not my videos. I didn't own them at all. But I think I'd probably seen most stuff by that point on pirate video. But you would only have seen that if you were a member of a local group and had got out to see. So most people would not have seen a lot of this stuff. I'm pretty confident that things like The Keys of Marinus was not out on VHS at that point. The Three Doctors, I don't think was. There was a lot of them that were not available on VHS. So most people will be seeing these, in many ways for the first time. So it was cracking stuff. Really, really good.
All the old jokes here in the live chat on YouTube, Rubble, Facebook, and X from people around back in the day. It's like the El Dorado of British platforms when you mention BSB. Rob Alexander and Stephen O'Neill are having it out there in the live chat. To be fair, Betamax was a better quality tape than VHS. So it's all these arguments have been going on for decades. Which was better, Sky or BSB? The correct answer for Doctor Who fans was always BSB. Why would you have just constant Keith Chegwin presenting Sale of the Century and stuff like that on Sky when you could have old Doctor Who on BSB? Matrix Lord 12222 as I'm getting my numbers wrong now has joined us in the live chat too. I remember the tin foil on my black and white TV antenna. That was a thing all over the world as well, wasn't it? People would sort of have to lash things up and boost the signal however you could.
Yeah. Used to hit the top of the television to get it to work.
Peter Davison style on the console like that.
You did. I mean, you really did.
Oh, how traumatic,
Charlotte.
Simon. Oh.
Sorry, Charlotte, do you feel well out of place? Because I have
Yes,
no
I
idea
have.
what I have no idea. No idea what's happening.
I don't remember that far back. I do remember the old TVs where you had to push the button in and it was like a wooden
Those are the ones.
frame.
We're
My
just
grandma
old.
had
We're
one.
just clearly old.
Oh, there's no such thing as old, only vintage and only
Thank you, Dan.
gold.
Definitely vintage.
Solid gold, as always, from the Doctor Who diary and Simon Horton. Thanks for coming back and bringing it with you, Simon.
Thank you.
I think
Good fun.
they'd have been
All good
disappointed. The
fun.
punters would have never forgiven us if we hadn't have dived in just a little there with a few more thoughts. As you can gather, I think I'm over it. I'm sort of over it after 35 years. I'm getting there, kind of. We
You're
shall
dealing
see.
with it well.
We shall
You're still having the therapy.
I think I'm coping reasonably well. And for the younger ones on the panel, thank you for making it through our midlife crisis there, miniature.
And making us feel even older.
Yeah, brilliant stuff.
It doesn't matter that Dan has and Simon have the pristine Blu-ray versions of every single story that was shown. It was like you want to kind of be there to see it like it was. Yeah, I get it.
Well, you know what, Gary, in many ways, as brilliant as it is to have everything now on Blu-ray, don't get me wrong, I'm not knocking it. Of course, I love it. But the fact that it is so easily accessible takes something away from it. So, that particular weekend when we were promised, I can't tell you how excited it was counting down the days to knowing you'd got 2 solid days of nothing but Doctor Who.
No, I get it. I mean, I had back in the day, I had my share of unmarked VHS tapes given to me in brown paper bags with grease stains on the bottom.
It's all coming out now, guys, isn't it?
I know exactly
they
what
weren't
that
our
is
tapes.
like.
They weren't
I'm seeing a different side to Gary now.
I think we'll have to host some sort of international speak-easy or confessional on the subject of bootleg VHS tapes. Matrix Lord 212 still got his, and I suspect a lot of other people probably have as well. Adrian James is keeping very, very tight-lipped, very suspicious behaviour, Adrian, but thank you for joining us. Gregory Jones wasn't a happy camper. I'm pretty sure that they also agreed to not break up the episodes with adverts following fan feedback. So, Doctor Who fans never backward in coming forward with making their complaints. They've never had Doctor Who with advert breaks in before.
That does ring a bell, actually, Greg. Now you've said that,
And Star Whovian says, I'm with Luke. I'm lost, but intrigued by all the history. If that's the case, then Simon, I think our work here with the Doctor Who Diary must be done.
We are complete here. We are finished. Our work is definitely done. See you next week.
Yes, so Gaza may have been crying in summer 1990 for anybody who remembers that. Even I remember that. But Doctor Who fans were sort of jumping for joy and yet crying at the same time when they'd worked out they'd not managed to convince their parents to get BSB after all. Not quite done with that. We're going to play it out just that little bit more, torture myself that little bit more. Here's a look at what I certainly missed over that weekend there on BSB's Doctor Who weekend. This is a special Type 40 Live Doctor Who ad break, and we'll be back in a couple of minutes as always.
Doctor Who here, to transport you through time to the weekend of the 23rd and the 22nd of September, when you will be able to see some of my greatest adventures.
A thing that looks like a police box standing in a junkyard. It can move anywhere in time and space. Have you ever thought what it's like to be wanderers in the fourth dimension? There's a strong force at work somewhere which is threatening my ship.
Look, nobody is going to rescue me. Least of all an abominable snowman.
What's the matter?
Look! That's it, Victoria. Hold on, whatever you do, hold on! Soldier!
Our battalion's dead. Do you hear me? I, Yartek, am in control now. Kill him.
You will be exterminated!
In every one of these time zones, thousands of human beings fought and died in the belief that they were on their own planet.
Do something, Cully! We're going to crash! Quickly, Cully! Jamie, the doctor!
Hold tight, everyone.
You will face the wrath of Omega.
Doctor! Look!
You will be robotized!
Daleks.
Get set to be beamed up to the fourth dimension with Doctor Who for exciting time-traveling adventures on the weekend of the 22nd and 23rd of September on Galaxy, the entertainment channel.
Welcome back to Type 40 Live, Rumble X, YouTube and Facebook. As ever, here we are going through it and reliving some past televisual treats or simply trauma. Their trauma from the minds of children who couldn't get their BSB weekend sorted and their square reel up in time. We're back looking at it from all angles as ever, the past, the present and the future of all things Doctor Who here on The Big Who. More lively discussion with the panel. Are they seated? Are they comfortable enough? Let's see. Let's find out. Hello, everybody. Welcome back. More comments in the live chat. I think people like the ad break. Some blasts of some genuine Doctor Who gold there, and all sort of slightly tinted to give it that kind of early 90s look. Are you sad you missed out on it now, Charlotte?
It looks like Simon said, if you could watch it and you hadn't seen the episodes repeated, it must have been like heaven.
Yeah, it was quite mind-blowing.
Oh, I mean, I get it now. After seeing that ad, I would have done whatever it took to watch that. If
it's a good advert.
After that ad, I totally get it.
It is a good
I
advert.
love the dipole Dalek that comes across the screen to cut from one thing to another. That was particularly strong, I think.
I think they were ahead of their time with that advert. Really do.
Could have been.
Yeah.
They could. I think the whole effort was ahead of its time slightly. A rapture for Doctor Who fans, according to Crimpling de Blue. What a fabulous word. I like that word. Rapture. Brilliant. Okay, yes. So I think we're all back-ish. We're all.
Yes. I always check that the boys have gone to bed during the break. I went upstairs and my youngest is sat in an Udo with a tub of Ben and Jerry's. Not so I had to just go into mum mode. So I was a bit. That's why I'm a little
You only
bit
live once.
It's going to be sick in an hour's
taking
time.
advantage because I'm on a live stream. There you go.
Oh dear, oh dear, oh dear. Where will it end? Where will the madness stop? That's what we want to know. Have we done enough with our long bout of nostalgia there to keep your cynicism at bay. Well, let us know, please, in the live chat, YouTube, Rumble, Facebook, and X. As ever, there is more. There's more. Where, though, and with who?
The universe is on the point of collapse. The Doctor and I have to save it, but you can help by watching time-rotor.
Yeah, this is your Big Who. Lively discussion about the pressing matters of the week in the Whoniverse with a round table of Type 40's best equipped time agents. This time, Sophie Audred. Sophie Audred has let us know news of her schedule, what she's got coming up soon. The popular actress, voice artist, and presenter that I think a lot of us have a soft spot for, don't we, as Ace from all the way back in 1987. There she is. She's announced to her social media followers that she's recently recorded a celebrity edition of highbrow quiz series Mastermind for the BBC. And there she is, resplendent in red, and looks relatively confident, I think. A few British TV shows of any kind can match Doctor Who's longevity, I suppose, and iconic status, but one of them is Mastermind. It's presently hosted by this guy, Clive Myrie, and this is one where commonly it's members of the public who compete to become the champion. They're going to face down this sort of a grizzled-looking middle-aged dude whilst they sit in the famous black chair there under a spotlight. It's run on TV almost interrupted since 1972. And the idea is that contestants answer 2 rounds of questions. Firstly, there's a chosen specialized subject, which is selected by the contestant, and then a further one, which challenges their general knowledge, all culminating in a final round where the winner takes home a glass bowl for their trouble, believe it or not. Generations of British kids grew up sort of dreading this show, I think, because usually it was a sign, Gary, that it was time to go to bed. I mean, it's very difficult. It's the sort of thing we pretended we were watching, because if we did, then our parents may let us stay up that little bit later on a Sunday because it was school the next day. But I think it was also sort of my nightmare fuel too, because the theme tune was very famous. They still use it now, don't they? I think it's called Oncoming Menace or something like that. You know, it is one of those stark theme tunes from a different age in TV, I suppose, where everything was so much smaller and virtually everything sort of freaked you out a bit. Charlotte, do you know the theme tune to Mastermind? Can you do that?
They haven't changed it, I don't think.
No.
It's one of those few things, like you said, everything else on the BBC tends to get a revamp after a couple of years, or they change something. But no, that I think it was too iconic to change.
It used to scare me. Yeah, it really used to scare me.
Like a lot of the BBC's biggest brands, Sarah, they did get rid of it for a few years. They cancelled it completely in the late 90s, and there was a short run over on the Discovery Channel with Clive Anderson hosting it. But eventually, they brought it back. But this, I think, fears of this kind of live in the minds of a lot of British people, even if they didn't watch the show, Sarah. You know?
Yeah, it just looks really scary, and just the pressure. You know, you're sat in the darkness. You've got, and I'm terrible for this. I think I know something. As soon as you put me on the spot, out it goes, and you're always scared of looking a complete fool. So I just get second-hand anxiety of watching contestants. You know,
but you know what, Sarah? I think it's a shame when you watch Mastermind these days. It's so nicey compared with how it was back in the. Oh my goodness! Yeah. I mean, Dan, I don't know whether you remember back in the 70s when it was Magnus Magnusson. I mean, it was really quite intimidating. Whereas now, Clive Myrie, it's all very chummy, and there's lots of smiles, and it's all lots of great fun and laughs about your favourite specialist subject. Whereas in those days, it was absolutely.
Oh yeah, he wasn't interested. You got your name, your age, your occupation, and that was that. There was no,
it. It was like an interrogation. It was like an interrogation, wasn't it?
For a minimalist set, This is incredibly intimidating. I mean, this to me is like something out of George Orwell. It's like I would expect him to ask me, like, "Where were you 2 nights ago at 9 o'clock in the evening?"
It's exactly what
Yeah,
it's like.
it was. It was like that, Gary. It was. Whereas
Magnus-
now it's so much chummier now. I don't like it. I
Magnus
think they
was
should.
Looks better off with Bullseye, definitely, Sarah.
Yeah. Magnus, he was like the old-fashioned stern headmaster.
Yeah, he was. He absolutely, that's what he was, and I really think that they should have
Here he
stuck
is.
with that.
Because Sophie has said this is the most frightened that she's ever been going on this show. But as with a lot of big staples of British entertainment, there are Doctor Who connections. That's Magnus Magnusson there, clutching. He was decorated by the Queen, and for once he was smiling. Not least of all because his grandson was playing with his hair. His grandson, Jamie Magnus Stone, Doctor Who director. He directed multiple Jodie Whittaker episodes a few short years ago. And there he is.
Didn't know that.
No, I didn't. Oh.
We get the Doctor Who is everywhere when it comes to broadcasting, and yeah, there they are together. Magnus Magnusson presented it right the way through to 1997, and I think it's kind of like when Tom Baker left Doctor Who, or when David Tennant left Doctor Who. It's like, should we keep this going without him? But eventually, it has sort of recovered from the loss of Magnus Magnusson, and it's gone on to become a staple. A staple of broadcasting yet again. But as with a lot of TV shows, it's never enough to keep the format pure. They've got to introduce a celebrity edition. Luke, who's responsible for this? Is it Celebrity Big Brother? Do you think they were the first to do it?
Oh, to be honest, I can't remember. And I think, this is. I'm sorry, I just read something in the chat about where this show come from. And
yeah, me too. I'm reading that as well.
Like, oh my, I never knew that. That's mad. I to be honest, I have no idea. I mean, Celebrity Big Brother, it was probably the catalyst for everything wrong with society now, isn't it? Unfortunately, so why not blame it on this as well? There you go.
I mean, that single spotlight above that chair, that's like right out of George Orwell. It's like, what are you thinking about?
I mean, but various people are commenting in the chat to say that apparently it was drawn inspiration from being in the Gestapo interrogations during World War II. That's where the producer got the, and now it all makes absolute sense.
Wow.
That's
Rob,
wild.
Stephen, and Corbin, to name just a few, are chipping in to let us know of the dark origins of Mastermind.
Some people thought, let's turn this into a form of entertainment.
Maybe it was therapy for the poor.
Maybe it was, Charlotte. It's catharsis.
I can make other people go through this now.
So with a lot of iconic institutions of any kind of broadcasting, there's lots of parodies of it too. Probably the most famous one is the two Ronnies Mastermind sketch, but there are many. They are plenty.
Yeah.
Maybe Dan, you can adapt that when you have like guests come on Type 40 for interviews. You can just have them sitting alone in a room with a single light above them. And just like
you should say that.
Pepper them.
We did record something a couple of days ago, which wasn't that far away. Mastermind itself is still considered by the BBC, certainly. This is what it says on their blurb: the most rigorous and intellectual British quiz show. I think that Victoria Coren Mitchell may have something to say.
Yeah, I think she might challenge that one.
About that now. But it does, in all fairness, I think with the theme tune and the set, it is sort of irresistible. I think it's still the one I always think of, but then again, as we've established in the previous segment, I am knocking on slightly now, so it could be expected. Where I think we went wrong probably is these celebrity editions of various shows. But I suppose it depends on how serious you want to take your entertainment. Here's Steve Pemberton, who was in Silence in the Library, was it? Charlotte,
Yes, the River Song one. He was one of the group that came into the library.
There he is, positively bricking it on Celebrity Mastermind, as I'm sure you can tell. doesn't look too happy. So he was giving it his best, because this is what they do now with every game show. I think Bullseye is probably the same. If Blockbusters is still going somewhere, it almost certainly is. When they have celebrity editions where they swap out the members of the public. And in the case of Celebrity Mastermind, what they do is the celebrities, such as Sophie, they donate their fees to their chosen charities. So there is that angle to it, which, you know, that's a nice thing. It's always a nice thing to do something for a charity, Sarah, you know. Doctor Who, obviously, has crossed paths proper with Mastermind. I doubt many of us will forget, in the heady days of the Doctor Who comeback in 2005, there was an entire Doctor Who Mastermind special.
Was there?
Oh, you don't remember this?
Yes, there was.
No, I don't remember
I
this
remember
at all.
Poor Doctor Who fans were put through their paces to find out who would be crowned the UK's top Doctor Who fan. Good God. Can you imagine?
Wow.
Like a bear pit. You might as well just throw us all in some sort of, like they have in MMA, one of those hexagon things, and get people to sort of slog it out. In this instance, though, decorum was maintained. I think it was mainly because Christopher Eccleston was there to present the prize, so nobody wanted to look like they were maybe too rabid and foaming at the mouth in the presence then of the brand new Doctor Who. Yeah, I loved this at the time. It was just the right kind of bit of fluff, along with Chris's appearance on Blue Peter. It was just the right sort of lead in to the comeback of Doctor Who to get my juices flowing. This is when the BBC knew how to deliver. Simon, you missed it.
Yeah, I wonder whether this is available on YouTube. I'd love to. So were all the questions about Doctor Who, presumably?
There was a general knowledge round as well, I believe.
Yeah.
Gosh,
I'm really going to have to try and find this on YouTube, because I'd love to watch this and see how I get on. Probably
it's in my archive until they do get round to releasing the Blu-ray collection sets for the new series. I have to make do with that. Anybody else remember this?
I remember it, yeah, and isn't it lovely to see Chris smiling? Even at that time,
Yeah.
I just think it is, yeah.
See, I didn't watch this, but Dougie has just said, I remember the Weakest Link special.
Yeah, I remember that one.
Afterwards. I loved that one.
Awful.
Did you find it awful? I found it so much fun.
Oh, I found that too. As I recall, K9 was sitting there on a platform, wasn't he? I just couldn't take it seriously, but there we go.
The Weakest Link did try to cultivate a similar kind of vibe, didn't it, with Anne Robinson being very austere, and it was all very sort of lights. The studio lights were all down for that as well. I know that's running now. They've sort of jazzed that up a bit, but I haven't seen the restart of that either. Just like I've never seen the Clive Myrie incarnation of Mastermind. The last person I saw do it was John Humphreys. He's gone off to a quiet retirement now. Bless him. I can't say I blame him. But yeah, it is lovely to see Christopher Eccleston smiling there in particular, because that's not something that we're used to in recent times, is it, Sarah? We want to see our Doctor Who icons sort of. It's kind of like getting a state visit from the Queen or the King or something when you see a doctor sort of interacting with members of the public like that, setting them at their ease.
It is, yeah. It's more naturalistic, and yeah, it's just nice to see, the people that you like having a good time, and being so good with the fans as well.
And if you like that, you're going to love this. There was a further Mastermind spin-off as well, which I'd never heard of. This is Junior Mastermind. Check it out.
Your name?
Chris Eccleston.
Where are you from?
Salford.
Your occupation is?
Unemployed Time Lord.
What was the best thing about playing Doctor Who?
The response of children like yourself.
Were you nervous about playing the Doctor?
Yes.
What did Christopher Eccleston bring to the role of Doctor Who?
These.
Does the Doctor fancy Rose Tyler?
Absolutely.
If you had Doctor Who as your specialist subject, how well would you do?
Terribly.
I love that kid's delivery. It's just like boom, boom, boom.
He's brilliant, isn't he? Doesn't drop a beat, does he? Doesn't bat an eyelid.
Wasn't Christopher Eccleston a good sport there doing
Very
that?
good.
I thought that was absolutely wonderful stuff. Yeah, I'd never seen that before, and it's nice to find little morsels now of New Who that I've never caught before. But I did wonder, what's that kid? How old is that kid now? And
he works in Parliament now, probably.
Yeah, probably. He's going to be about 30 or something like that, isn't he? Horrifyingly.
Christopher Eccleston going straight back to the ears, of course. His successor, David Tennant, was part of a comic relief edition of Celebrity Mastermind there, where he went against Davina McCall, who was his co-host that night in 2005 on Comic Relief Night. And his specialist subject was Doctor Who between the years of 1963 and 2009.
Oof.
As you can see, he's still touching cloth there. I don't know how well he got on. I did watch this. I've got a copy of this somewhere. It's probably out there where you can usually find these sorts of things. If you want to, I think David Tennant did win, from what I remember. But yeah, if you can endure those Comic Relief nights for 10 minutes of sort of entertainment-ish.
That picture on the bottom looks like he's like in a Pet Shop Boys video.
Given the chance, I think he probably would have rather have been, to be truthful. So yes, Sophie Aldred about to join the distinguished line of Doctor Who personalities, I suppose, to make it into the chair there. But I thought it'd be an ideal opportunity to ask you guys, how do you think you would get on with? Firstly, how do you think you get on with in the general knowledge round there, Gary? Would that be something that you could pull off?
General knowledge is overrated.
I agree.
I think we only need to know about a few things in life, and then where the food is. That's pretty much. No, I don't know. I mean, if you're thinking about unless if it was geography, I would die. I've never been good at geography. If it's things like that, if it's math, I could do math. Maybe. I don't know.
Like how we say, I could probably do it. Yeah, my general knowledge used to be fantastic, Sarah. I used to boast about it, and I used to do a lot of pub quizzes and things like that. And it was something I could. I used to be a bit of a smart ass with it, looking back. But I'll tell you something. I've become very starkly aware how rusty I'm getting. How do you think you get on with general knowledge?
Oh, terrible! Like I can't retain stuff, even that, and I'm constantly aware of it when trying to help the kids with the homework. I mean, it's stuff that I've done. I've got no idea. Like,
you do wonder. You do wonder when you get to a certain point in life if you've forgotten more things than you ever knew in the first place.
Yeah.
Oh, that's a scary thought.
Obviously, Luke, they could pose some general knowledge questions to you on Bullseye when you record.
Yeah.
How do you think you get on there? What is your general knowledge like?
It's okay, I guess. I know very random facts about very useless things. So it's like, yeah, I think it'd be fine. I think it'd be mediocre at best. So
I pity you on Bullseye tomorrow.
If you're like me, Luke, do you like random things like what is Postman Pat's surname? That's the kind of stuff I know. That I don't think that's going to get me through life, though. Really.
You're going to have to. You do realise you can't just leave that there. You're going to have to tell us what Postman Pat's surname is, because I don't know.
You don't know. It's Clifton. There you go.
Clifton.
Oh.
So if it comes up on Bullseye tomorrow, Luke,
there you go. Yeah.
You're in.
I tell you what, Luke, if you win the speedboat because of Postman Pat's surname, you're gonna have to give the speedboat to Sarah.
Just name it Clifton,
or take her for a ride in it.
How about you, Charlotte? What's your general knowledge like?
It really depends. Like, I'm a bit like that. What Sarah and Luke said. Certain stuff I know random knowledge about. If it's like maths, for example, which I hated at school with a passion, I've never been so happy to get a C in my life. Let's put it that way.
Don't knock that.
Well, no, but I'll always remember my mum was like, I've never seen you literally run back home as quickly as you did that day when you got your result. But, no, like I said, if it's some film stuff, I'm good with like some actor stuff and random stuff to do with films. Yeah. If it's like I know a bit of RE, I'd be good at that. But otherwise, on books, I could probably name some books. But like I said,
name some books.
Name 3 books.
You know what?
The Bible, the dictionary.
I think we probably all named some books. I'm just not sure if it's going to get through.
The Bible, the dictionary, and Doctor Who and the Daleks. There you go.
Don't panic. Simon, what would your general knowledge be like, do you think?
Well, if it was anything to do with sports, there's just not a hope in hell of me knowing. Or maths again, or geography. I'm hopeless on geography. My general knowledge actually isn't too bad. I'm quite good in a pub quiz, but I'd be hopeless on Mastermind because I'm no good under pressure. That's my problem when the time is against you and you've got to think quick. That's where I can't do it. So give me half an hour and I'll come up with the answers. Yeah. But give me 30 seconds to come up with 20. Not a chance. Not a chance.
The light fixed and the studio, the lights down, but the lamps sort of on. People watching you. Oh, Clive, there's got you by the short and curlies. Your mind's just going to go empty, isn't it?
I'm definitely Colin Baker on that one. I would definitely be Colin Baker if I was in Mastermind General Knowledge section.
Yeah, I think I'd probably struggle as well. So obviously our thoughts are with Sophie Audred as she's she's recorded it now, so evidently she's made it through to the other side.
Survived.
But perversely, we had David Tennant there, did pick Doctor Who as his specialist subject back then. But what would obviously we are on a Doctor Who panel show at the moment here on YouTube, Rumble, Facebook, and X. So we'll stick to Doctor Who. But as regards your specialist subject, Simon, for a Doctor Who edition of Mastermind, what would your specialist subject be regarding Doctor Who?
No doubt whatsoever, it would be the Philip Hinchcliffe years. It'd be sort of 75 to 77. Just those 3 seasons, 12, 13, and 14. That would have to be my specialist subject.
Would you limit it to the stuff on screen, or does that include behind the scenes stuff as well?
Oh no, I'll be okay with the behind the scenes stuff. Yeah. No, I'm happy with anything. I'd go with anything from the from 75 to 77.
You'd go full Andrew Bixley off screen and on.
I'd probably crash and burn, but if I was going to do any good, that's I know where I would I'd do okay. That's
very ambitious. So that's 3 seasons worth of stories.
Yeah. I'd be quite happy with that. And I say
how many episodes?
It's got to be there's about 15 stories, isn't there? 16, 17 stories, something like that.
I'm not putting you on the spot with this. There's no glass bowl at the end.
Don't I get a bendy bully?
72, I think.
We're just pissing about. But I did wonder. So the Philip Hinchcliffe era. Yeah. What about you, Charlotte? What would yours be? Would it be a particular era, or would it be the works? The life and times of Bonnie Langford or something? What would you go for?
No. If I had to do that or like Colin Baker, I would absolutely crash up and burn. It would probably be something Matt, but I'm trying to think, would it be like a certain series of Matt, or would it be his era? It would probably be series 5 actually of Matt. I know that series pretty damn well at this point. I've watched those episodes a lot. So it would probably be series 5 of Matt.
Specifically, just series 5?
I just think I'd watch those episodes more.
That's quite niche.
Whole era. Well, I just think if I did the whole era, I know I would struggle when it comes to the later stuff with him. But like I said, that first series I adore, so that's why I'd probably do a bit better with series
Back in
5.
the 70s and the 80s, it was frowned upon to answer questions on anything populist, believe it or not, Luke. So I think the breakthrough one was when somebody answered questions on the Godfather movies, because I think because they're being Oscar winners, or the works of David Lean, the director David, that's how it gradually snuck in populism, and now it's quite commonplace. So you get people like John Lennon's solo work. People will answer questions on that, but I doubt if you could go in and say sort of, I'll answer questions on Flight of the Navigator, or just for your favourite film. What would your specialist subject be?
What would my specialist subject be in relation to the Doctor Who, or in general?
Yeah. In relation to Doctor Who,
it's probably 2005 to 2009. I reckon I go with that. That's what I grew up on. That's where I know best. The specialist subject would probably be Welsh rugby, 2005 to now. But in relation to Doctor Who, it would probably be RTD one. I'd say. I reckon I could do a pretty good stab at that.
Are you strong with the off-screen stuff, with the credit list? Who did what, who was the OB and the all that kind of thing, the makeup artist, or would it be strictly the stuff on screen?
So unless you're talking like filming locations, then filming locations would be quite an easy one, I reckon. That could pretty much,
because they're all round by where you grew up.
Yeah, it's literally I can walk to the most of them. It's like Rogues Lock or Treforest Studios. It's like easy. The quarry around the corner. Crew wise, probably not. Director wise, maybe. But yeah, probably more the on screen stuff. I reckon I can give it a good stab. I reckon it would be amicable. It would be like, oh, okay, he tried.
So when you got there and the moment of truth was approaching, you think that would be your best shot, Doctor Who between 2005 and 2009. How about you, Sarah? What would your Doctor Who specialist subject be? What would you choose?
Oh, well, I was probably going to say something like Luke, that era. I honed in that era, but since he's already said that, I will say Stephen Moffat stories. I think I could give that a good go. And then I could also answer questions about other things like Sherlock and coupling, which again I adore.
Wow.
So it's just a slightly different angle.
That's very brave, because Stephen Moffat has written more Doctor Who than anybody else now.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
In screen minutes and in episode number, I believe I read somewhere.
Wow.
I think it may have been Boom that finally pushed him over that particular line.
Wow.
Yeah,
more than
said
10 sticks.
It be him coming back for Russell that would probably done it.
Yeah, of course. Yeah. So what would yours be, Dan?
I'm going to ask Gary what his would be first.
Oh, have we made Gary? Gary,
what would you? I mean, firstly, do you have Mastermind in the States? Is there an American version of this?
There used to be one, like about 10, 15 years ago. There was this primetime show called like Who Wants to Be a Millionaire, where you could sit on the chair, ask questions, then you could phone a friend.
Oh yeah.
You know,
that's derived from a British show as well. We have that here.
Yeah. Oh, okay. But nothing like this where you sit in the interrogation chair, and get peppered with questions. Nothing like this.
What do you think your specialist Doctor Who area would be?
You know what? I would say Doctor Who comics.
Ooh.
And it would I would spend anywhere from the TV comics in the 60s on through all the Pertwee stuff in Countdown to the stuff in the weeklies and monthlies. I'm pretty conversant with that, and I've read them all. Not all, obviously, but I mean I've read over and over and over and stuff. So whether it's who was the writers and artists, or who were the companions in particular stories and stuff. Yeah, and I think that would be mine.
Wow.
God, I hate to think how much reading, revision you'd have to do in preparation for
it would be fun.
It would be a lot of fun. Yeah, I've mulled this over as well. You know, I love the comics too, but I'm far too lazy to go through them all again because I haven't got that kind of encyclopedic knowledge. I think I'd really struggle with that. And I did think, would I go for the work of a particular sort of actor or a writer as you have, Sarah? But the truth of the matter is, I would almost certainly have to go for the Colin Baker era.
Oh, wow.
Colin Baker, not Peter Davison.
The Colin Baker era.
Wow.
So all of that era, simply because I know each story, each line of each script, pretty much line by line. They were the only episodes I had on video for years and years and years.
Okay.
So I had every episode of Colin Baker. I'd got the 5 Doctors, and I think 2 Peter Davison stories, something like that. I'd got a couple of things I'd recorded on audio cassette, and I'd got the second Doctor Who and the Daleks movie. That's all I've got. So those Colin Baker stories, I watched practically on rotation. So the truth of the matter is that would probably be my safest bet to get me through there.
Wow.
In that spotlight, in that chair, and under the frown of Clive Myrie. So yeah, but it's like Simon says, I think your mind does sort of, if not empty, it starts to sort of, it's like somebody taking the plug out of a sink. And maybe, I think because you've got a finite period of time as well, you haven't got time to get used to your environment. Because when you get used to an environment, you relax. But with this, they move you from one part of the set to the other. You know, I don't know how they're going to treat Luke on Bullseye. They'll probably move him around a little bit. They'll poke and prod him and all that sort of stuff. And he'll Luke is a bit of a prima donna.
Like,
Such a prima donna. He'll be bringing the makeup lady back all the time. Can have a bit more of this, a bit more of that. So it'll all drag on with him doing all that stuff. But back then, you see, I haven't seen my Mastermind as it is now. So to me, it's still the big scary show with Magnus Magnusson, just as you were describing, Simon.
Yeah.
And so I think I'd have to go for the lowest hanging fruit, and it would be the Colin Baker era.
Bless you.
For me. Yes.
It'd make a good show. This would. We've got an eclectic selection of specialist subjects here.
More
Nobody's gone for
eclectic
the
than you
same one.
think. No, more eclectic than you'd think. I mean, obviously, everybody's going to have their own. And I suppose that when we haven't got to do it, it's very easy, isn't it, to make this sort of big claims about what we could do or what our strengths are. But when it comes to the crunch, maybe we'd find it a little bit harder. Let's go and check out what the people in the live chat there on YouTube, Rumble, Facebook, and X, how they've disclosed what they think their strongest suit would be when they have to deposit their backside in the famous chair.
Watch Type 40, or I will be paying you a little visit.
I love that one.
It never gets old. Corvin says, yes, they've totally gone down. They've gone even further downhill here. Somebody's answering questions on Star Trek Deep Space Nine.
I would do that.
You know, that's my favorite Star Trek show. I do love that, in all seriousness. But again, you would never have had that in the days of Magnus Magnusson. No way. And Garbage reminds us of the Russ Abbott parody too. So many of them. So many of them. Stephen O'Neill says Magnus Magnusson passed away all the way back in 2007. Wow. So he had a 10 years after he packed in Mastermind. Rob says the celebrity version usually runs at Christmas. So I don't know. I don't watch television anymore. So there we go.
Yeah, it could be. It makes sense.
Jess says somebody was competing to be crowned the top Doctor Who expert back in 2005. Yes, we've talked about that. Let's hear what your.
Oh, by the way, I've got to say, just very quickly, Garbage has put the link in the chat somewhere. It is on YouTube. You can find that 2005 special.
Cool.
They're on YouTube. So I will be watching that, and I'll report back as to how well I do.
It should be there. It should be there. Rob Alexander would go for the Robert Holmes stories. The stories. Yeah. How many stories did Holmes write, Gary? Can you remember?
There's going to be about a dozen. I would say it's about a dozen stories there. Robert Holmes, 13, 14.
Starting back with Troughton.
Yeah, right. It's the Mysterious Planet. Yeah, a lot of them.
Stephen Brannick says he's surprised that my specialist subject isn't Verida. I've sent she hasn't replied to my email, so I think the injunction could prevent me filling in any more blanks there. I'm not sure what it could have been, what the question that pushed me over the line there could have been, but you never know. Philip Royce is back in the day. Jim Bowen's Bullseye was the only place to see women with tattoos. You're quite.
Oh yeah.
Not on every school run like now. It says, yes, compared to us British, Americans are. Oh come on, Nicholas Horton.
Let's be kind.
Americans are pretty dumb. I don't. That's the no. That's we're not. No, we're not getting on board with that at all. But Lord Thoth loves the comics just as you do, Gary. So I think he'd be right there as well. And no, I didn't go for Delta and the Bannermen. Garbage has a specialist subject here. It would be the outfits couture of Jenna Coleman.
And he would do very well in that.
I imagine he would.
You know what you do then? You make Jenna Coleman the questioner, because that would throw him so much he wouldn't be able to focus and you'd get everything wrong.
Yeah. Oh dear. Just that one question. If she just said, "What are you thinking about, you naughty boy?" and you just, I'd just go very red. Nicholas says he'd also crash and burn on certain stuff, but Farsight would go for the New Adventures, the Virgin line from 1991 to about 1995.
Yikes.
I found them unreadable. So yeah, you have my admiration.
Farsight,
That's a
deep dive, that's for sure.
Anything to do with the Daleks, says Nicholas Horton. There you go. He's made his choice. Whereas Stephen Braddock would choose either the second, the third, or fourth. So you've got it nailed down there to a 12, 13-year period, Stephen. Blimey.
Yeah, it's only 15 seasons. That's good.
Phil says there's a whole podcast on Doctor Who actors turning up on quiz shows, a whole hour just on John Pertwee. Yeah, I think we've talked about many of them sort of dotted around here and there, haven't we, Sarah, over the years?
Yeah, my favourite's always when they're on Blankety Blank. Yeah, they always make me
on
laugh.
Blankety Blank is a classic.
And when Tom's been on as well, yeah, they're very cheeky.
That's definitely very that's very true. That's Caught My Bluff there with Tom Baker.
That is, I remember that so well. 1977, 77 Talents of Wayne Chang had just finished broadcasting.
I was close.
I bet Tom was always good at that because he could just do any tall tale and make it sound believable anyway.
He could sell ice to Eskimos, couldn't he?
I don't know if you've seen on BBC Would I Lie to You? I've always thought, God, imagine if Tom did that. I feel like to guess spot on that. Nobody would win that week. No.
Everybody is rooting for Luke on Bullseye tomorrow here, including Stephen Braddock in the live chat. And Cheryl says, I couldn't do that. I would freeze and my mind would go.
Yeah, that happened to me too, Cheryl. Absolutely.
I'm surprised you haven't been on one of those, Simon. You haven't been tempted to go on. What's that one called? What's that one called they used to have on BBC One at tea times with the teams? Do they still do that? What's that called?
Blockbusters.
University Challenge.
No, the teams of people. Dermot Moynihan used to present it, and then that awful Jeremy Vine took over. What's that called?
Oh, Eggheads.
Eggheads. Yeah. My mates always wanted to go on that from the pub quiz slot.
Yeah. No, it was good. It was a good show, actually. Apart from Jeremy Vine, it was a good show.
I can't
we should
stand
take
that
a
guy.
team. If they're still doing Eggheads, why don't we take a team on Eggheads? That'd be fun.
I did win a Doctor Who quiz last year. It was at Weatherspoons.
Oh yeah, I remember that.
So it was very general questions, and we did it as a family. And I won a hamper of little goodies. I've got a lovely Matt Smith Doctor Who clock. They cut into vinyl and make it into a clock. So there's Matt Smith on one side and the TARDIS. I'll have to take a picture and put it in the group. And so it was quite cool. But it wasn't very taxing questions really.
I mean, to be fair, you should have won, shouldn't you, Sarah? Let's be honest. It's a good job you did. Otherwise, you'd be banished from Type 40 forever.
I'd have never had the end of it if I hadn't done it.
Our hooligans lot have got a Doctor Who quiz team name with the MPs of Flydale North. We got into a massive argument in a quiz, bless them. And to be fair, I think one of the contentious. There's a couple of contentious questions, but one of them was who was. Are we talking canon, non-canon on screen? It was like who played the first female Doctor on screen? We were like,
Joanna Lumley, yeah.
And we were like, do you want canon or non-canon? Do you want
that's the problem.
And then they were like, oh, what part of David Tennant got cut off in the Christmas invasion? We answered his hand. And they were like, no, they wanted the specific hand. But I remember Rob, bless him. One quiz, they were beating us by one. And we had 2 points that this team didn't mark off. And Rob went down and bless him, he shouted down the quiz master. And we ended up winning. So we were correct.
Don't get competitive at all.
Shouting down the quizmaster. Yeah, I don't think that's going to fly with Clive for Sophie Aldred. Mastermind and Celebrity Mastermind there on BBC Two, and on the iPlayer, of course. We'll see. Does Ace smash it? I hope she does. Best of luck to Sophie Aldred, of course, there in her appearance on Mastermind. All will be revealed in due course, I suppose, whether it was a pained experience or whether she emerged triumphant. There, we can only hope she weathered it well. Let us know what you think. What would your specialist subject be if you were on Mastermind? If you were in not that chair, the chair. Do you think you mind to go blank? How do you reckon you get on? You can let us know. We won't tell us so. We won't hold you to it. He's ready for battle there, whether Sophie is or not.
I need that in 4K, so send that to me, Dan.
I shall. Charlotte, it's that time. We've gone from Gary's cap to your nightcap.
Smooth, that very smooth.
King of the segues.
And once again, thank you, chat, that even before I wrote in our little private chat, I needed to go. There was good nights. People know my routine.
Night, Charlotte.
Of type 40 live.
Good night.
Sarah's still here.
Stuff.
So
Thank you, everybody, for the comments. Let's have a few more.
I'm awfully surprised it wasn't Anthony that won that mastermind. So surprised it wasn't Anthony that won it. He wasn't involved somehow and was on it.
Yeah.
As soon as you say, I was so surprised.
He was probably their reservist. He was probably there, stood in case one of them came down with the lurgy, got the tom tits, or disappeared, walked into traffic or something. Get Anthony in as the safe. The safe pair of hands there to save the show. I suspect he's been involved in practically everything else, so it wouldn't surprise me at all. But we're keen to learn how you would get on there out there on YouTube, Rumble, Facebook, and X, and in the comments. Do you think you would emerge triumphant? What would your specialist subject be? And be honest, what is your general knowledge like? How is that faring as everything goes a little bit rusty? Eggheads, that was the name of the show that I couldn't remember, of course, earlier on. And people have been stepping in there in the live chat, filling in the blanks for me. Thank you so much, everyone, for your patience, as always. Yes, so we are into the final straight, I'm happy to say. Let's really indulge ourselves and return another favourite just for a little while.
Welcome to Type 40.
Yes, why not? We're going to fly the flag for the boundless creativity that exists out there in the Doctor Who fandom, mostly because it's second to none. So there's never any shortage of pretty pictures to whack up here over these big grey walls. Oh, look at that. Bloody hell. I'm not sure which is worse. I love this when it first came in. Now I'm thinking that Jodie one, maybe it wasn't that bad. So traditional or digital model making, crafting, cosplay, it all counts. They're all pretty pictures, aren't they, Simon? We love it all.
Yep, certainly do. Bring them on.
You want to send it our way or us its way? And I think you're really going to love this. I think we may have mentioned him once or twice on the show already. In fact, I know we have. This is one of the latest pieces from friend of the show, Daryl Joyce, prefacing the release of a certain season of classic Doctor Who on Blu-ray with this fabulous piece around Terror of the Sun.
I've got this because I've got the Daryl Joyce calendar, and this is September.
Well, it's quite right too.
Known.
It should be September, shouldn't it? This, interestingly, this nearly made the diary, but it finished. Terror of the Zygons finished transmission last week. Actually, episode 4 of Terror of the Zygons was screened exactly 50 years ago. Last week. Oh, wow. Do I feel old again? Because I remember it so well. I was obsessed by Doctor Who at this point. Absolutely obsessed. Yeah, absolutely. And this is what you wanted them to look like. This is what you wanted the Scarison to look like, and it didn't. That's the scene that we want to see, isn't it? Really, let's be honest.
Whenever Daryl reimagines or looks at things from a slightly different angle, imagines the things that we couldn't see, he never adds too much. It's as if he knows precisely where that line is somehow, Gary.
You know, the things I always adore about Daryl, and his art book is one of my prized possessions. It's like you can spend days and days lost in that book. But it's the things that he throws in that don't need to be there, but add to the atmosphere. In this case, for me, is those on the right, those light beams coming out of the clouds.
Yeah.
It's like that just totally makes the atmosphere perfect.
Richard Brooks loves it too. It's in the calendar, he says as well. Stephen Braddock's got that in his collection as well. And we've got a fantastic here from Peter Harrington. Another fantastic from Ezra Goldstein, Luke. And Crimpling the Balloon thinks it's gorgeous. What do you think, Luke?
It's absolutely gorgeous. But I think the only thing wrong with it is I think has Scotland had that much sun before?
It's artistic license.
Fair enough. But I think you nailed it on the head. Is like that's exactly what we wanted to see from it, and you wanted that, and we didn't get it, but it captures it perfectly as well.
And of course, if Terror of the Zygons had been made today, that's exactly what we would have had with CGI. We would have had that exact image.
Yeah, you're right. Peter says it's nice that Tom is holding on to his hat, because obviously if he was gaining momentum to get away from the Scarasan, he'd pick up speed, and the breeze there of on the Scottish, was it an afternoon or an evening, wherever it was, it did look a bit parky and did look a bit windy.
And in those days, Tom wore his hat a lot. Obviously, as the years went by, he wore it less and less. But in those early years, he did. He always wore the hat. Love it, just beautiful.
The lock itself in the background, just disappearing off into the distance. Simon,
It is. It's absolutely magnificent. That just beautiful. I mean, Daryl has done so many amazing pieces. That's one of his best, in my opinion.
Beautiful. Yes, this was what I call a scroll stopper. So when you see this on your phone or your tablet, you freeze. And, wow, you've got to go back and check. Did I see what I think I saw?
Yeah.
Absolutely wonderful stuff. We love it, Daryl. We love you. Come back again soon. But in the meantime, yes, best of luck. Get that calendar while you can. Go and follow Daryl on social media. I think he's certainly on X. He's gone on Facebook. There's lots of places you can find Daryl's incredible work. Talking about Sophie Aldred, of course, a little while ago. 80s Doctor Who legend, and one of the very few people who came out of Power of the Doctor with any dignity whatsoever. The subject of the Sylvester McCoy era has inspired Hamish Steele to create this wonderful set of illustrations, which kind of remind me a bit of 8-bit gaming. I love this. I think I want this on a t-shirt.
That's brilliant.
Ace there in the centre, running wherever she's obviously running to give a Dalek a good hiding with I think it's a baseball bat. It looks somewhat short, but whatever it is, she means business because she's sort of scowling at she's going at the dragon. I think Sarah that she's making a beeline for the dragon.
I love how the Candyman's running away from the special weapons Dalek.
Yeah, the Candyman's brilliant, and I love the fact that there is a Mel and a Rani at the top.
Yeah, you can tell the difference by the eyebrows. That's brilliant.
Yeah, you can tell which one is which.
If this was on a t-shirt, I'd totally buy it.
Do you know what? If this was on a print, I'd buy it. I mean, Hamish, I think you should do them for all the Doctors.
Yeah, it's a good shot. Yeah,
beautiful. I just love that. So clever that is.
The Gods of Ragnarok there as well. Rumoured for a comeback this year that never happened. They're probably just as pleased about that as we are, to tell you the truth. The Brigadier with his arms behind his back, moving in on Morgaine. The more I look, the more I see, the more I like this piece from Hamish Steele.
Yeah, I'm just peering in fascination at this. Who's that supposed to be bottom right? Is that Bernice Summerfield bottom right?
Yes, it is. But the Big Finish incarnation rather than the comic or Virgin New Adventures novels incarnation. So that's curious. But it's still she's still iconic. I believe Lisa Bauman, of course, has played that part on audio for well over 25 years now. So I think it's right that she gets the nod. Very nice. Sonic Trowel, I think she's holding.
No, it's just fantastic. Just love that. Sit and look at that for hours.
Not so sure about the Hemivore. He kind of looks like he's going commando underneath that smock, Sarah.
Just shoot to notice that done.
Yeah,
I would absolutely watch if they did a cartoon in this style. I'd watch it all day.
Yeah, I agree. I would as well, Gary.
I would too. I like it a lot, says Richard Brooks. Lots of character and good design.
Yeah.
Too true. The doctor's got his hands in his pockets there. That usually means he's fiddling with his small change or rooting around for his abacus. Sylvester McCoy's doctor. The Rani is slightly taller than Mel. Notes Peter Harrington and Tom from T Dwarf Productions, who I called Tom Dwarf the other day and nearly did again then. He loves the Candyman.
And Tom did an incredible version of the Candyman in his silk clay. It's just one of his best models.
That's my favourite Hemivore, says Far Sight. And yeah, just the general sort of nice. The brig striding with purpose. Very true. Very true. And yeah, yet again, Rob thinks it's wonderful. And Lord Thoth simply says that it is groovy. Groovy, I agree. It is very, very groovy indeed. I also think Tom is a pretty groovy chap. Groovy and generous and industrious. And also, I think, the biggest fan of what we do in this segment too. So it's only right, I feel, that we sign off with a piece from the Pretty Pictures Gallery, this time from Tom at T Dwarf Productions. And I love this when I've been meaning to show this for a few weeks. Check out. It's not Bonnie Langford. It's not Mel.
Tom.
It's
brilliant.
This is an Axon.
Of course it is. Spray it green and it'll be a crinoid.
Look at all the lines in that, not just the tendrils and stuff, but just the lines on the body. It's like,
yeah, it's so detailed. Well done, Tom. That's fantastic.
The amount of detail that he puts into these is just incredible, and they're just so immediately iconic. But they're also immediately obvious what it is, but B, that it's something by Tom. He's got a very, very distinctive style. And you immediately know what it is, but you immediately know that it's something that Tom has made, and that's what I like about them. They're just all very Tom in their style. Beautiful,
unmistakable. I think that's something all of the creators that we featured most of the time do have that, and certainly the people that we've talked about on this edition of the show all have.
Yeah, it's great. I've not seen that before. I've seen many of Tom's productions, but not seen the Axon before. Let's say he needs to do another one now and do it in green for it to be a crinoid.
Worryingly cute, I think, Luke. I mean, that's the thing with some of the Doctor Who creatures, isn't it? You know, you think, oh, and then they'd come and they'd have you in the night, wouldn't they? They'd choke you out or something like that.
Yeah, no, absolutely, and he absolutely nailed it as well, isn't he? Everyone creatively always has their own style, and Tom's is very, very unique and recognizable.
Yeah, it is.
That's always a good thing to have. So we will always know his work and know the amount of love, care, and attention he puts into it. So well done, Tom. I nearly said what you said, Dan. Tom Dwarf. I nearly said that.
Can you change your name, please, Tom? Just for me, to help an old guy out. Tom says, I made that Axon for Katie Manning at Comic-Con. So did she take receipt of it?
I bet she loved it. I bet she absolutely loved it.
Yeah, he's great. He makes these models and then passes them on to people at Comic-Con. Nice.
Fabulous. Brilliant work, Tom, says Rob Alexander. Axons, the Peter Gabriel years.
I can see that, actually. I can see what Rob means with that.
We've got so in right now. Tom says, he's no time to receive all this praise. Look, he says, right now I'm making a red trapdoor spider for the Oxford Museum. This is a regular gig that Tom has secured. Understandably, they love his work as much as we do there at the Oxford Museum. So if you want to catch more from Tom, go and look him up on social media. He's very active, and you can see lots of, sort of works in progress as well, and things that he's got going on, as well as his actual menagerie of various creepy crawlies and friends of all different shapes and sizes. Some have 4, 6, and 8 legs, like that.
He's incredibly gifted.
Yeah, he's very, very talented. But his favorite creature in the world is a spider. And he knows that I am absolutely petrified of spiders. I
think he does it deliberately just to see you squirm. Just to see you squirm, Simon.
I think so.
So yes, fabulous stuff as ever. So with Tom and Daryl and Hamish, brilliant work. We love it all. And of course, we do sort of want more. We're very greedy here. We've always done our very best to support Doctor Who fan art and creativity wherever and however we can. And yes, so if you are an artist, a creator of any kind, and you'd simply like to show us your work, to showcase it in your honor, then we'll do that. Send it to us. Excuse me. You can contact us on our social medias as ever, or in the Facebook group if you send it to us, or send us a link where we can find it, and then we can pass it on and get it up on these big old horrible grey walls. They may change them at some point in the future, but I think we could be waiting quite a long time, so we may as well make our amusement where we can, Sarah.
Yeah, well, yeah, we'll keep it going. Yeah, we don't need Doctor Who to be back on the screen. We can make our own entertainment.
We've got Tom
It's fine. We've got Tom Dwarf, we've got Dowell Joyce, we've got Philip Roy, we've got Luke and the Hooligans. What more do you need, really?
Yes, that's the suggestion. Come and say hello to us as always, and on our social medias. I can't talk. On our social medias, Instagram and X at Type40 Doctor Who. You can get in touch with us there and send us your work, or suggest to us your favourite artist. Maybe there's somebody we've missed. That's also fine as well. If you're an artist, you simply want to get some of your work up on our Facebook group wall, you can do that. Join up, introduce yourself, tell us what you do and how you do it, and show some of your greatest hits as well. And whilst you're there, you can wade in with some of the arguments, the discussions, the rants and the raves in the Type 40 Facebook group, the time-honoured space. Thousands of Doctor Who fans there now, discussing, debating, and waiting the biggest wait yet again. You can also get involved through SpeakPipe. Leave us a message, any kind of suggestion whatsoever, suggestions, predictions, feedback, ideas, even. All of it is fair game, and we're eager to learn what you've got to say. So drop us any one of those at the link there to SpeakPipe in the video description. Talking all things Doctor Who as ever here at Type 40 Live, and we really have we've reached right the way back and across, haven't we? Sideways in time as well. There, what a fun conversation I feel like we've had this time, catching up with the Big Who. Thank you everybody for your company. What a treat! What a treat!
Been a good one. It's been a good one tonight.
Yeah,
it has, and we've got some fabulous comments as well from everybody out there as well. Sarah, thank you to Charlotte as ever. She'll be all tucked up now with something warm, won't she? I'm not talking about her the latest Wicked trailer, whatever that is. That's just dropped. I think she's probably watched it into double figures already to send her off to sleep. Yeah. I think it's quite likely. So thank you again, Charlotte. Good to have you back, Simon. Of course it is.
Good to be back.
Is that shirt TARDIS blue? That's the question I've been wondering off and on all night. It's not.
No, it's actually purple. It just comes out blue. It's actually purple. There we go.
And I was going to say, for your Litchfield event, in that picture Dan showed, I really loved your neon purple shoes, Simon, in that one too.
Yeah, it's a tough job, Gary, but somebody's got to wear them. I have no shame. I'm still 6 years old up here.
I'm not being sarcastic. I really thought they were cool. It's
it's really
those would be cool.
Thank you very much. Yeah, they're quite fun. That's just me. That's just me. I'm pretty mad.
John Duncan Shaw says snakes are worse than spiders. Where do you stand on snakes?
No, spiders are worse than snakes. No.
There you go. He's not having it. He
loves spiders. Ooh.
Good to have you back as well, Sarah. After your surprise pick there in the Mastermind specialist subject range, I'm impressed.
Oh, thank you. I mean, I've still got to do it. I mean, don't it's just your expectations. Like,
one of these days we should do it, shouldn't we? As a show, we should do Mastermind. 1 minute on your specialist subject.
I'll just stick to Postman Pat, guys. It'll be fine. But yeah.
I bet there's even more episodes of that than there is that Moffat wrote for Doctor Who.
And there's spin-offs and all sorts. Oh gosh. But yeah, lovely to be back. Lovely to see you all. It's been great fun tonight. Thank you.
Yeah, good to see you.
Swat up on some of it with the BBC Three surprise repeats of the Matt Smith era that are commencing in double bills. That's it's about to kick off as well, Gary. But thank you, Gary, as ever. Great to have you aboard.
As
Yes, so
always.
you've had a lesson in British game shows.
No, yeah. I mean, because obviously they never came over here. So, no, I mean, I'm endlessly fascinated by these little, trivia journeys.
He has to say that
I
everybody.
go on. And I wish Luke the best of luck.
Yeah, we want to know. We want to
Yes,
know.
good luck, Luke.
If you don't come away with the speedboat or the caravan, we're going to be very disappointed.
I just want the bully.
Noah,
That's
not the
all I
thrower.
want.
What was that?
Yeah, I'm the Noah. I just want the bully. That's all I want. But yeah, I'm the Noah, not the thrower. So
pressure's on.
Excellent. We'll find out how he got on maybe on the next edition of Type 40 Live. While you're waiting for that, you can go back and rewatch this one. There's bound to be something that you've missed. We've had far too much fun for you to take it all in. So go and rewatch this and then catch up on some of that as well. Any one of our other 250 odd shows now here on Type 40 Live, and all those episodes of the podcast as well, and our Type 40 extras, those showcases and deep dives with special guests. So it's all there in the playlist. Go and help yourselves. But yeah, we'll be back next time with more hottest of takes, rants and raves. All opinions are welcome as ever. Be sure to make sure you like the video and subscribe to the channel. Check you're still subscribed, because YouTube can be very, very naughty like that. And hit the cloister bell to get all the notifications. The comments are still coming. Send them over to the comments after the show. We'll get back to you in the comments section. Of course we will, in due course. But yeah, we want your specialist subjects, and confess, how would you get on with the general knowledge round if you were on Mastermind, and were you a BSB customer? How much did your mum or your dad fork out for that kit that probably ended up in a skip a couple of years later, or holding a door open? I think it was probably they were quite heavy boxes. I've seen a couple of those since. They're big buggers. And is there a squarial anywhere left in your immediate vicinity? We want to see pictures. We want to see the proof.
Photos. I can't remember how much they work. I can't remember how much you used to have to pay per month for BSB.
A few quid. Yeah,
I can't
they
remember.
weren't
So
cheap.
if anybody knows, please tell us in the comments, because I'm intrigued. I can't remember how much it was.
I think it was more expensive. I think it was more expensive than Sky.
Oh.
And that is another reason why it failed then. There we go.
You could be right. Yeah, BSB may have failed, but we've had a raging success with this edition of Type 40 Live. I think we should quit while we're ahead, everyone. But you have a great weekend out there, and we'll see you on the next one. This has been Type 40 Live's Big Who, where we always have the time. If you have the space, we'll catch up with you again soon. Sarah, you're gonna have to let us know how your lads get on with the tub of ice cream, if he won or not.
Yeah. Oh, it's gone. It's gone. There's nothing left.
Victory! Enjoy your weekend. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye.